Hello, everybody. I think we are live. We'll soon know when Romeo confirms, but welcome to We Kill Monsters, the weekly Dungeons and Dragons live stream where I get to play with my favorite people on Earth. Well, some of them, anyway. I didn't quite get all of my favorite people on Earth, but I definitely got some of the, top 10 in there.
I thought you meant some of us were your favorite people.
Yeah. What's the Hobbit? I like half as much of you as much. Oh, yeah, I can never remember it the right way around.
Half of you twice as much as I should, or something.
Yeah. Anyways, big thank you to Sirenscape, who is a kind of a framework for playing music and sound effects synchronized even remotely. So it's really great for COVID games to be able to all have the same ambience and really get into your games. Check them out at sirenscape.com. And I've uploaded my own custom music. Well, not my own. I got it from a really great composer, Travis Savoy. So Travis, thank you once again for the wonderful music tracks that we get to play, because they really amp up the drama when there's a big fight. Big fights, such as last week, when Tier 4...
Last week we killed monsters.
They definitely did. They finally came to a head-to-head with the Shardolin Dragon. Kind of a robot? Robot? I can never say that word right, after hearing it wrong on Futurama.
Robot.
Well, a mechanical dragon. They defeated it quite dramatically, actually. Caliban nearly lost his life, the paladin, by riding on top of it and striking the death blow on top of one of the lakes and plummeting nearly to his doom and being saved last minute by one spell that he had left. So that's where we left you guys. We left you in the aftermath of rescuing and coming to where Caliban had landed in the water. Some of the towns, about 5.5 out of 10 towns, all but destroyed. And you had gained a new ally? Sorry?
4.5 that were. We prefer to think of it as 4.5 that weren't.
So you were on the outskirts of the town of Tourmaline, who had been sort of 40% been destroyed, and you were kind of deciding what to do next.
Well,
point of order as well. You guys just watched the stringy mess that was me coalesce and bone snap back into place and reform. So I don't know how you guys would react to that, but
I'm a little grossed out by it, but also impressed.
well, that was a little bit exciting, wasn't it?
Bit of an adventure, especially for you flying people.
Well, one has to do what one has to do, don't you, Caliban?
it definitely wasn't all upsides. Croc!
That's got to hurt.
Yes. Could you do that, when I don't want to vomit, which is right about now? But
I second that notion.
I think that's everything.
Okay, good.
Am I missing anything?
We should seek shelter, I should say. It's been a long couple of days, and we are all exhausted, are we not?
Thank you, Alan. We couldn't have done this without you.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. We are in your debt.
Where shall we go?
There's going to be fallout, and there's going to be survivors, most of them in East Haven. It was the largest of the towns affected, right?
Yeah, well, Tourmaline is pretty big too, but we stopped the dragon, so yes, I should say so.
We should gather the survivors and make a trek for East Haven. We'll stand a better chance gathering everyone together.
Or do we want to just go to Tourmaline, rest ourselves up, and figure out what to do the next day? I mean,
also that can work.
Those of you who fell out of the sky could use a night in bed.
Actually, I'm perfectly healthy now. That troll heart is amazing.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch you, Ario, over.
I was just saying, unfortunately, some of us didn't have troll heart breakfast, so some of us need a little bit of a little snooze, and certainly I'm sure that myself and Akeem and Bill will need a little bit of a
resting up to. Agreed.
Food of some description.
So we're right outside of Tourmaline, right? Should we make our way back there and find, see if we can find
somewhere
I'm sure
to
it would
shelter?
be
Yes.
chaos, but at least we should find some shelter there.
Yeah, Hang on. Oreo, block your ears. And I'll just quickly put my femur back into its hip socket. And then we'll keep going.
Do you know what? It's a bit... And I look at him and go, oh, it's just the squeamishness of it all. Yes, well...
You think hearing it is bad? Try feeling that.
Yeah. Yes. Preferably not. I've already been thrown off a dragon once today. I don't want to happen it again. So let's... Termlane?
Yes.
Ellen, you coming with us?
Indeed, I've. There was the safety in numbers, is there not?
Exactly. Exactly. So, then let's go.
Okay. And so you.
And the
actually,
dragon fell through the ice and is completely gone. There's no.
You see no signs of it aside from a few bubbles coming up onto the surface of the water, but it's getting pretty dark.
Okay. All right.
The lake at its deepest is actually hundreds of feet deep and is fed by a hot spring, which is why it doesn't freeze completely even in winter. You Dubrick, would know this.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
As we're walking, I'm gonna just say to everyone, something's occurred to me, guys. You know Nerth, my superior, the one in charge of Targos, the one who belongs to that den of thieves.
Yes.
This is exactly the kind of kerfuffle he needs to solidify his hold even more. This is going to be a big power vacuum. If we don't deal with that, that could fester into a problem.
Interesting. Right, so I think we're going to go back to Tourmaline and try and see what the state of the town is and try and find some shelter.
Yes,
Very well.
I agree with Caliban. Let's have a little bit of rest, a little bit of breakfast, deal with the trouble, and then go solve other problems. I think we might have a little bit of standing now in the 10 towns.
A little.
My only regret is nobody saw that last finishing blow I dealt. It looked amazing.
Yes, well, maybe we could find a bard who can write a tale of Tier 4's adventures.
That is a fantastic idea.
Couldn't agree more.
As long as it's not one of those ones that run around seducing everything. Otherwise, we'll just have to worry about that all the time.
There's a crime boss I dealt with once back in Waterdeep, while I was part of the team that dealt with him. Half dragon. God only knows how that came about.
Yes, well, I can imagine. A bard. That's basically what we're talking about
Exactly.
here.
That is exactly what I was implying, yes.
Yes, exactly. Right. Tourmaline.
Okay. So as you approach Tourmaline, you haven't actually been to Tourmaline yet, technically. I mean, you've been during the fight, but you've never been there sort of during the rest of the game, so I'll describe it for you. It was founded by Kalashite settlers who appreciated beauty. It is widely regarded as the most picturesque town in Icewind Dale.
Not anymore.
Spreading out from the shore of Mare Dualden and bordered on the north and west by tall pines. Its buildings incorporate carvings of wizards, homunculi, tigers, and smiling djinn. For most visitors, the enchantment of the town is dispelled as soon as they feel the icy claws and teeth of the cold wind sweeping down from the north, shearing through layers of clothing. Tourmaline was built in the path of this dreadful gale, which continues well past the town to harry fishers on the southern half of the lake. And in addition to fishers, shipbuilders, and scrimshanders, Tourmaline is home to miners who harvest gemstones from a cavern complex set into a low hill north and east of the settlement.
I look around, and I'm Oreo's from Kalasham, so Oreo's looking around, going, "This looks a bit like home."
Does it?
Yes, I mean,
I
it's
look at
cold
the
and
smoldering
horrible.
ruin and I say, does it?
Well, actually, to be honest, even with the smouldering ruin, it looks a little bit like home. Yes, especially after my father's been through.
So as you approach, you see that the dragon was clearing it sort of south to north, and the north part of town is kind of okay. The one that you're approaching from the top.
Well, glass half full.
And Nora pipes up, says, it looks like the tavern, the Blue Clam. Sorry. No, wrong tavern. No, I'm going to go with that. The Blue Clam is still up.
Yes, well, it probably needs a little bit of... Maybe we can help out and get some shelter there.
I imagine that's... I'll ask Velen. Would that be where people would gather, or is there maybe a town hall somewhere here that they're still intact that you know of?
I had not made my way to Termalaine, to be honest. I do not know this town as well as I know East Haven. But it looks like most of the important buildings have been destroyed from what I could see.
Of course they have. I guess we'll just talk to people there and then we'll figure out what's going on.
Who's the town speaker, Velen, of Talamalaine?
And both Nora and Durbeck would know this quite well. It's someone called Orus Masthew, who is a relatively young half-orc that was elected after a close and contentious election. Nora says, as far as I know, he's a good person. I have not spoken to him myself.
Well, let's see if we can find him.
Good idea.
Okay. Cool. So you... Oh, 1 second. I have Tourmaline sounds.
Ooh.
Do you guys have Cernscape up, by the way?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about your announcement at the beginning of the episode. It reminds me to open it.
As you approach the Blue Clam, you see a nice kind of three-tiered building, quite large, sort of ramshackly kind of upgraded throughout the years. You can tell that the upper levels were sort of added subsequently. And it's got sort of a sign with a nice sort of big drawn blue clam on it. And you can see lights inside the building. And there's definitely shadows and sort of movement, dark things moving in front of the light from the outside of the windows. I'm assuming you walk in.
Is the door open?
If you walk up to the door and you open it, it opens up and you see that the main floor of the tavern, full of tables and full of people. It's chock full, clearly more people than really is designed for. It's people that have kind of gone there for safety after sort of escaping their home.
Is there anyone injured there?
A lot of people. Like most people have at least some injuries, and you can see a few of the town militia. I don't think the music's appropriate, so I'm going to take that off. Leave the rest of the sounds. There's not many of the town militia left. The ones that are in here are severely battered and being tended to by some of the villagers. And you see sort of running around between them like a rather tall half-orc sort of looking fellow that has sort of an apron around his waist and sort of a towel around his arm, sort of moving around and trying to organize everything.
Akeem, you're a charming fellow. Perhaps you want to address these people?
What the hell? Let's do it.
So you approach the half-orc?
Oh, yeah.
As you kind of come up behind him, he sort of hears some footsteps and turns around and says, "Oh, hello there. Name is Vernon Bragg. You're not from around here."
It is wonderful to meet you, Vernon. You say Vernon? Vernon Bragg?
Vernon, yes. Vernon Bragg is the name.
Yes, we're not locals here, but we are wondering, what is happening around here? What's good to do?
Well, you must have seen the attack from the dragon. We're all, thankfully it seemed to leave, and a little girl pipes up, "That's the guy! That's the guy that was on top of the dragon!" And
I turn around to the Caliban to be like, maybe you should say a word or two.
he just sort of looks around and he says, "Oh, are you the ones that stopped it? We saw an explosion over the lake."
I point to Akeem and say, he did the brunt of the work, but I was the final nail in the coffin. We both were. I just shit to Oreo. But yes, together we felled the dragon.
And it's gone for good? Yeah.
I point to him, like, disapprovingly to say, not the brunt, you are on top of the dragon. On top of I think you did a fair few things.
I turn to him and say, I caved in its skull myself and cast it into the bottom of the lake.
Let's not brag. Let's just say, we managed to do that. Can we help you out in any way, shape, or form?
Oh, actually, yes.
Take the bard's
I can
duties
help out
here,
someone.
And at this point, the tavern's kind of just gone quiet, and all eyes are on you. There's about, I would say, I have the numbers here. You can see 20 soldiers in various battered states, and maybe about 50 people sort of just crowded in corners talking. But well, they were talking, and now they're all hushed, and eyes are on you. Is the dragon gone for sure? It's not coming back, yes?
It has
Dead
been
at the bottom of the lake.
Oh, thank
and
the
I
gods.
tap Derbrick on his shoulder to be like, yeah, that was a hell of a battle.
And you just see him turn around and just snap a finger. Helga, drinks and food for these folk, the heroes of Tourmaline.
Oh, thank you very much. Please, yes, exactly, Akeem. I don't. We're not heroes. We're just people who do our duty.
Amongst those who are injured, DM, how many look like commoners as opposed to guards?
I would say about half of the injured, of the 50 normal people are injured. So 20, 25 people look in various states of kind of damage. Some of them more so than others.
Okay, I will go to the most damaged of the folk that don't look like guards. I'll address the people as like, everyone, I have enough healing magic to somewhat restore about 8 people of the common folk. Who among them would you say could be best fit to help the others who may have to wait another day before they can be assisted? Are there any people gifted in healing amongst the injured? Or
he sort of explains there isn't really sort of any healer in town, at least not in this room at the moment. But Nora says, I'm happy to expend all of my remaining powers to heal the folk here. I will sit quietly in the corner.
So I have 35 points of lay on hands because I didn't use in it. Divided by 4, that's 8 people. What is it? So 4 times 8. So crap, I did that wrong. 4 times 8.
Okay.
I should know that. So that's I can heal 4 points of health into 8 people, and I will do that to amongst the commoners or so, 8 of them, and 3 into the last one. So
Nora will
people.
spend the remaining hour casting all of her prayers of healing, which take her 10 minutes each, healing basically 20 hit points per prayer, healing up to 6 creatures, so that's 18 people, and she's got 1 level 2 slot, healing and another, so she's healing in another 6 for, basically, that between you and Nora, all the people that were severely injured have been healed.
I'm also going to use, I've got 2 first level and 1 second left, so I'm going to use Cure Wounds for those, so a d8 plus another d8 plus 4, so yeah, I'm just going to burn everything to heal them, so I'm tapped now.
I don't have any healing, but I figure as adventurers, like our medicine check, field, first aid is probably pretty decent, right? So
yeah. If you want to roll, like I would say for an hour, roll 3 medicine checks with advantage. And
first one, I'm going to see how.
Natural 20.
22.
Nice.
This is
20 as well. Oh,
22.
first one.
So
18
going
on the
around
second-
between everybody, you find people that had sort of bad wounds, and you manage to kind of bandage them up as best as you can, stopping the bleeding, which might have become dangerous, over time. And and the wounds that you think might be gangrene, you apply some heat from a torch, much to the delight of the person being treated, but with a little bit of a scream. But at least they won't get infected. So by the time you're finished, after about an hour or so, by the way, you can. Actually, no, I'll do that later. But after an hour or so, you've kind of stabilized or healed most of the people, including the soldiers, to a decent state.
Also, how dark is it? I
sure.
assume that they might be like huddled in a corner somewhere.
It's coming up to, I'm going to say, it was kind of a mid-afternoon, wasn't it? So it's coming up to evening, and you can see they've already started to clear tables out of the way, the trestle tables, to make room for people to sleep on the floor. They put extra hay and thresh on the ground as people would sort of cuddle together for warmth as much as possible.
So I'll just cast dancing lights just to make it a little bit easier for folks to see and feel a little comfortable.
Very well. I'll make a note of that. And during this time, talking to Vernon, you find out that the Oros Masthew, the town speaker, took as many of the villagers as he could to the mines. He'd been prepared. He was one of the few town speakers that was definitely super concerned and proactively had an escape plan in case of dragon attack. So everyone had it sort of been told that once the town bell was rung, to congregate and run towards the mines. So that's where you'll find him with some of the the people, at least.
Good chap.
Velen, can you send a message to him, perhaps?
I'm afraid I do not have that spell.
Fair enough.
There was
So-
a thread about the mines. Was it some group of wizards that was going there from an earlier session?
Vernon goes, there was some kobolds in the mines, and as he says that, funnily enough, Velen's kobolds come in. They'd sort of been tending to the dogs in the sled, and so they walk in, and everyone pauses and a gasp, and sort of Vernon steps in front of sort of some of the people and stops and says, "You, what are you doing here?" And Valen's like, they're with me. I don't believe they are the same kobolds that you're having trouble with. They help out, I swear.
These kobolds were instrumental in slaying the dragon. They were our noble chauffeurs.
Okay, roll a persuasion check.
Which I'm actually good at. Don't fuck me, bronze die. Okay, that's a 10 plus 7, 17.
Can I back him up on that?
Yeah, you can. Yep. What do you say to help?
I'll say, I can vouch. I was there.
Okay, make your own roll, and we'll see what you get.
Just did 17.
Okay, two 17s.
Very good. He seems a little bit wary, but like you just saved the town, and you're very persuasive. So he's like, okay, well, he keeps an eye on them. He doesn't trust them, but for now, he believes you. Oh. They go about their business and sort of talk to Velen, who like sits in a corner and starts talking to them.
I approach Velen just briefly and go, Velen, did the kobolds we sent to you ever turn up?
Indeed, as you can see, perhaps they're not so hard to tell apart, but those two have replaced the others who were less
Able to escape a giant fucking metal dragon.
no, less able to be accepted by society. Yes, we know what we're talking about.
Oh, well,
it's a little bit.
That's worse. That's somehow worse.
do they recognize us?
It was. I didn't roleplay it last time, but yes, like once they sort of have time to talk to them, they would go, hello, thanks for the tip.
See, we did you good, did we not?
Yeah, she's very good. Gives us treats and tea. Although, and they sort of look at each other. I think the house got destroyed. All the tea goods are gone. And they sort of all like sullenly like hang their heads and like
Don't worry, we will help.
I clasp him on the shoulder and I say, "That's only an opportunity to build a bigger, better house with more tea and treats."
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I've been thinking, could we commission perhaps some sort of large sled, like a camper van of some kind, maybe pulled by both teams of dogs, that would have small bunks we could sleep in, sort of for more long-haul journeys?
Sorry, run that by me again? I'm not sure I understand.
I was just talking to everyone. So, when I first got here, I aided, I don't know if you were there, but there were these goblins that had this sort of moving tiny tower being pulled by polar bears. I'm not saying we get polar bears, but some sort of larger sled that can have more comfortable sleeping arrangements, because I dread to think what would have happened if we hadn't been able to get that rest, and that was a risk.
And
Can
Velen
we,
goes,
can we
"Vel-
build a recreational sled vehicle, an RSV?
Yes. Exactly.
Well, I would suggest that we stop if we have to stop in the wilderness. I can create the same dome that I was using to protect the children at East Haven. Inside this dome, you will be protected, and it will be warm, so we won't even need a fire to sleep well.
Doesn't sound nearly as great as the igloos that we've been making for ourselves, but I guess we'll make it do.
I mean, look, I like you, Dervik, but I can't stand by that statement.
Also, you guys would remember that going through East Haven, like sort of streaming for where the dragon was, what you recognized is only about 10% of the town had been left standing when you found the dragon, but you went past both the town hall and the ferry building. Both of those had been left intact for some reason.
They wanted them
Charlatan in the ferry building.
No, they just wanted them in strategic reasons.
That makes sense.
And if you remember, like sort of out of game. Sorry, go on.
In East Haven, or was it East Haven, where the Dwergar had an outpost in the disused ferry? I wonder if that's a sign that there may be some Dwergar here.
Possibly.
And you guys had received sleeping arrangements in the town hall, if you remember. Sorry, kind of letting you because you might have forgotten.
That crashed structure Velen had us explore. And I'm whispering this sort of to everyone, including Velen. That contraption on the inside. We told her about that thing, right?
Yes, yeah.
Velen, do you think you could fix it?
Oh, it is very hard to say, but there is a chance. I have been studying magic for quite a while now. I am, fairly talented, I would say. But this is very, very ancient magic beyond our current understanding of this age. They were far more advanced, so I cannot promise.
I'm just wondering if that's a thread worth pulling on. How much of this could we fix with that thing?
Well, after our little encounter with the simulacrum and the black pudding,
right, yeah, that's why
I wouldn't want to risk it personally.
No, I suppose you're right.
But
I do think
a little bit tired.
Agreed.
I suggest we find sleeping arrangements, but on the morrow we should probably figure out what to do. Even if we go straight to the journey I've requested your help for, we would struggle due to lack of supplies, and everything I've prepared for the journey has been destroyed. So we would need to secure food and climbing equipment and the such. And I suggest that perhaps the rest of the town is encountering similar problems. Yes?
Yes, I agree. I think we need to sort of get back to some sense of normalcy before we go on our next adventure with you, Velen.
And I really think we need to address the Neth thing sooner rather than later. The last thing we need amongst all of this is a Machiavellian schemer.
I agree. So rest tomorrow. Go see Oris. Make sure he's okay in the mines, and then head to.
Do we need to do that, or could we send someone to him?
I think
It'd be good to check.
Good to check.
Fine.
Just in case.
I'm also concerned about the stories we heard about the wolf tribe barbarians. There's some kind of nastiness going on out there that if we get some breathing room, it would be good to go help sort out.
I fear breathing room's going to be hard to come by from here on out, but...
We have that Goliath issue as well, don't we?
We never made contact with them, I don't think. Did we?
No.
Kinda just let it walk by.
Seems we're caught in a pinball machine of rocks and hot places right now.
You guess.
Vernon comes back to you guys after having sort of been doing stuff and says, look, we're a little cramped for space, but what I would like to offer you is my own sleeping quarters upstairs. And in honor of saving all of us, it is, we're most grateful. Please. And he sort of leads you upstairs to the top floor, and you see sort of a quaint, not particular, relatively modest bedroom with a large, very large bed, sort of medieval styles that can sleep many people, and a small kind of iron stove in the corner, and a rug, and a couple of chairs. It is but a humble room, but I offer to you guys. I will sleep with the rest of the men downstairs and help out best I can.
This is your room. I'll stay downstairs.
Well, I'll stay downstairs to help. It is my honor. Honestly,
We
please.
graciously accept your kind offer, so thank you so much.
Very well.
And I get into a chair. Oreo gets into a chair, curls up in a chair like a cat at this point, and literally goes...
Is that snoring or purring? I can't remember.
You can't tell.
Yes.
You can't tell. You think sometimes it's snoring, and then occasionally it's...
All right. So, as we bring the day to a close and you guys go for a long rest, is there any point of order, any conversations or anything you guys want to do before the end of the day?
Just one thing. Dervik, may I borrow your axe?
Of course.
I'm probably going to regret this, but I cut my hand off.
As you do, blood spurts everywhere, and everybody just, there's a moment of like shock. At least you did it upstairs, so only your friends are looking at this.
Yeah.
But immediately you see little tendrils kind of stretch out from both your hand and the stump and trying to get closer to each other, to knit together. They're a little bit too far apart, but they're really trying to kind of
bring it
inch
closer.
closer. And quickly they just kind of go, and they fuse together again.
I look at Caliban.
Come on, that's kind of cool.
No, I look at Caliban and I go, I was just about to go to sleep. I don't need this kind of terror.
That was awesome, and you know it.
You know, if you'd like, if you let me hold the axe, I could cut them both off for you.
Do it.
It's a joke. I'm not doing that.
And then I go, I'm going to sleep. You two cut each other to pieces.
Okay. So
Can't hear
everyone
you,
can
Zach.
have.
You hear in the background is Oreo just snoring and purring away, not ignoring everything.
Everyone go ahead and take a long rest if you wish. Well, obviously you wish, but you can do so.
That gets us back our exhaustion level.
Yep.
Yes. Long rest taken, and must
One
will
for
slap
Nora.
the back bitches. Right.
Okay.
Right.
I like to think Akeem wasn't far off of that as he snuggled down in the bed. He's like, oh!
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sleep time. Akim liked
And-
to sleep.
As you all cuddle up in bed, because it is a bitter cold night, and you see that the weather has turned really nasty. The storm outside is battering on the window. It's a blizzard, and it's the nastiest one yet. The wind is barely, the windows are barely able to keep shuttered by how strong the wind's blasting across them. But between the body warmth and the stove in the corner, you manage to sort of cuddle up and drift off to sleep, thanks partly to the exhaustion of the events of the last few days. And sorry, I'm going to turn down the music a little bit because it's quite loud on my side. So, Akim, as you drift off to sleep, dreams of fire find you. Memories from long ago of flames getting out of control, licking everything around you, a room disintegrating before your very eyes, a scream in the distance, and your hand reaching but not grabbing. You feel a presence you felt before. It is terrifying, and yet also it seems kind. But it is something deep inside you that you just cannot escape. And as you continue dreaming, and you sort of, there's just flashes of memories of your kind of relationship with fire, the fascination and the curse that it is, and the amount of time that you spent trying to control this power, and that finally now you seem to be on the verge of being able to use it for good. And yet you're scared because it seems to be growing beyond any level that you had control of before, and what it could mean. And yet you feel that presence that you've always been scared of somehow being proud and looking kindly upon what you're doing, and sort of watching you grow as a person. You can't quite grasp it. It's as a dream. It doesn't seem to make sense, and yet it does whilst you're sleeping.
And as this is happening, by the way, you're seeing like flashes of fire just like above his body happen, like come and go.
And that's worse than snoring.
I'm not aware of this.
Durbik, as you catch your sleep, and you're cradling your newfound hammer, and it seems to also be giving you just a sense of peace just to hold it. You're holding it in your hands, like in your sleep. And during your dreams, you seem to be getting occasional flashes of some of the things that you saw when you first touched it. Once again, images of winding corridors under the ice, of city spires beyond the size like that you could ever imagine, and all sorts of creatures and monsters attacking you and your friends. And you see also a face of a young, completely white albino tiefling laughing in the face of you, your friends, and Velen. On her side, some indistinct sort of figures that you can't really sort of make the face of, but they seem to be numerous standing behind her. But that's all. When you wake up in the morning, those are the only bits you can remember, but there was many more other things. Caliban.
Yes?
You find yourself dreaming about the events of the day, of when you finally slew the dragon and fell through the ice, and sort of prayed and begged into the darkness for your god to rescue you, and used the powers that you'd learned to sort of grasp you out of the water and bring you onto the ice. And as you're remembering the event, you remember that it felt different. You'd used that power before, and you'd been transported across time and space to a location close by, and it felt kindly and warm, severe, but definitely just. There was an energy of justice flowing through you. This time it was different. If you thinking back on it, there was something cold about it. You reached out, and something different answered. And as your thoughts drift to this, you find yourself walking around a large expanse of ice, completely dark above you. You can't see a sky, you can't see anything except darkness. But beneath you is blue, transparent ice that seems to be miles deep. And a faint, dark shadow somewhere in the distance underneath the ice. What would you like to do in your dream?
Am I like in common clothes or am I as I am?
You seem to be wearing what you used to wear before becoming a guard in Waterdeep, but you don't feel cold.
This is odd. This is very odd. Can I sort of wipe away some of the condensation and peer into the ice? What do I like? Can I try to make a perception check?
Make a perception check.
Not good. Not good. 10.
10? You can't really make out, like the ice is actually perfectly transparent and clear. But this shape is very far away and very dark. You can't really make it out. But as you look around, you see something in the distance, just a little black dot, maybe a few 100 feet away.
I'll head towards it.
And you walk, and like a dream in a corridor in a dream, it seems to almost be getting further away as you walk. And you pick up the pace and you try to run, and it's almost like you can't quite get there.
The shape underneath me, how far, like, has it changed at all? Is it behind me now, or is it in the same place?
It's in the same spot, doesn't seem to have changed.
And the thing in front of me hasn't gotten any closer?
So far, no.
I'll keep moving. Like dead sprint. Fast as I
Okay.
can.
Okay. Roll an athletics check for me.
Okay. 25.
Okay, use all of your strength. Like every single bit of your body is on fire, every muscle, like the breath inside you is just, your lungs are screaming. And you seem to be edging just very slightly closer, but there's something resisting you. Roll a charisma check for me.
Just straight charisma?
Mm-hmm.
16.
Okay.
12 plus 4.
As you've tapped into every bit of your physical sort of power, you're still being held back. And so you tap to something deeper. You sort of reach inside your soul and inside your strength of character, and you're like, no, I will not be stopped. And at that point you find a surge, and suddenly the opposite of what's been happening happens, which is rather than running as fast as you can and staying in the same spot, you barely move an inch forward and whoosh, and you're suddenly in front of a small, well, not actually not small, a large rectangular trestle table, a chair next to where you are, and on the other side is a very debonair, sort of mid-30s looking man with a goatee, sitting down and eating and drinking wine. He looks up on you and says, "Ah, hello, Caliban. Take a seat."
I'm sure you'll appreciate this doesn't exactly not seem suspect. Who are you?
I am what I am. But I heard you calling. And I answered, "I hope you don't mind. You look to be in somewhat of a spot. Please, have some wine."
I will sit down. Do I know I'm dreaming?
Roll a wisdom. Let's call it. Let's roll a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 18.
Yeah, you realize that this is too strange to be real.
Okay, so I sit down and I'll drink.
And he's just kind of eating. There's food there, and there's a plate for you if you want to like, sort of also partake. But he's just kind of eating and
Sure.
looking at you. Ah, good manners. So, well done. That was quite a feat. I'm most impressed.
I had help.
I think you'll need more help for what's
You do,
ahead.
do you?
And he looks up, locks eyes with you, and a smile kind of spreads across his face, and he stops eating for a second. Yes. Yes, you will. If you do wish it, I have some to offer.
Well, the last goateed gentleman I stood before tried to bore a hole into my mind. I'm gonna need more to go on.
I think perhaps that gentleman is sort of an enemy in common, if you will. These are dangerous lands you find yourself in, and you have in you the power to resist some of this challenges. I could awaken it for you, and he resumes eating.
At what cost?
Oh, nothing much. Just a favor to be named later.
I'm sorry, it's just, it's just all of this, you know?
Yes, indeed. It is by no means something you have to do. But I've seen what awaits you. I would take it. And goes back to eating.
I'm sure you would. Is this the part where you tell me that, we all have to do what we all have to do to survive? Or something like that? That it's a dog-eat-dog world, and, there are no rules. Chaos is a ladder, something to that effect.
Not at all. Chaos is evil and wrong. The only thing that stands between destruction and order is those that are willing to uphold the laws and the rules of what is right. Don't you think?
I do think that.
I'll be quite open, straightforward. What helping you is not charity. It will help me immensely. Especially if you stop our common friend.
And,
What say you?
how might I go about stopping your common friend?
Well, you've already upset his plans. But there are more. And I do not know what those are, but they'll definitely come between you and what you seek.
Well, then you can rest easy. I'll stop our, mutual foe. And I'll do it without your help.
Well, that is a bit rude, but it's your choice. Are you sure? And looks at you with intensity.
You can conjure up as much pageantry as you like. I know what you are. A
I'm
petulant
not really
crime.
hiding it.
A petulant crime boss who capitalizes on the bargains he makes and brings ruin to anything he touches.
I wouldn't say that. After all, I've been saving the people of 10 towns as much as you have.
I doubt that.
Sad. Oh well.
Couldn't agree more.
You will change your mind. And goes back to eating. And
We'll
your
cross
chair
that bridge
kind
when we get there.
as you try to say that, your chair kind of goes whoosh and gets pulled back to like the hundreds and hundreds of feet away from where he was, and as you almost as if you're falling, and you sort of wake up, and it's the morning. I'm gonna change the music. Ah. I'm still not very good at changing the audio quickly.
You just need a DJ.
Yeah.
All right, it is the morning. You wake up finally rested after all the craziness of the last few days, the non-stop racing across the tundra, meeting of frost druids, killing of Durgar, chasing a dragon, just seeing Zuxa fly past and then disappear and not being able to find her. Like, it's been really intense few days. And you pretty much all had, except Oreo, troubled dreams for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Oreo's
Right.
like, gosh, I feel absolutely splendid. How are you chaps doing?
Lucky you. I had a very strange and troubling dream.
Oh, no, Akeem.
How did anyone else rest?
I had
bad.
I had some visions of what I think is our journey under the glacier to find the lost city.
Oh,
It does
important.
not look like a picnic, in case you're wondering.
Well, death, destruction, glory. That's the tale of Tier 4, right? Dermot?
Well
Absolutely.
said, my friend. Caliban,
Caliban,
how about
was
you?
your night?
It was fine.
Yeah, well, at least a couple of us had a good night then.
Dre, when we first found the hammer, you said that there were some rumors about other powers. Did any of them have anything to do with this portent future site, or is it unrelated?
Does the amount of legends you remember being told, at your grandfather's sort of knee, and by the people telling you stories as a kid, is varied, and some of them contradict each other. But there was definitely a few about, there being a link to portents from the stars. So there was some stories about the hammer guiding the right sort of heroes through difficult times. But there's also other stuff that doesn't seem to match up at all. So you're not sure, but
Okay.
some stuff.
Okay, interesting.
Right.
Right.
Shall we go downstairs, see what's happening, and then quick trip to the mines, make sure that told Oris is okay, and then head off to East Haven? What do we say, Jack?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds like a plan.
Right. And Oreo sort of stretches and toddles off downstairs.
I suggest we might want to stop by the Dwarven Valley on the way back. Nora might like to check in, and I actually have some questions I'd like to explore a bit, if you don't mind.
And Nora sort of says, "Indeed, that is my wish as well. I do want to help the people of the destroyed towns first. I feel like my talents would go to waste, and I'm worried about how they're faring in this weather. But after that,
Yes.
I worry about my home and whether or not it has been attacked whilst we were away.
Well, let us do this, and then we can Dwarven Valley on the way down to East Haven.
Very good.
Okay.
As
As
we're
you head-
oh sorry.
yeah.
As
No,
we're
go on.
walking, I first like to take Akeem aside for a moment, just while we're walking.
Akeem, I've seen you once or twice, manipulate the weave of your magic to change elements of your spells. It's very impressive. Is it possible to learn this power?
Question to the DM. Is it something... I have no idea. Can I...
So
is it something I can teach him? Is it something...
the nature of your powers is actually sort of innate. So you didn't learn it. You had to learn how to control
okay.
it. In fact, your power seems to almost be there without you doing anything. And as you know,
Yep.
its initial discovery was actually somewhat traumatizing.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's the thing that I'm gonna reveal. But that I was gonna do. But I was just thinking about the transmuting of fire to.
So learning to control it was something that took you a long time, and it was more like a meditation. So you could try to explain the process, but it's not like a wizard's kind of spell that you can follow instructions. You have
okay.
you'll be able to explain to him that it was through learning inner peace and kind of being away from other people for long periods of time and practicing and testing yourself that you'd come to the point where you were able to do stuff like that.
Ah, cool. So, at this point, I pause. I look at Caliban, and I say to him, When I was younger, me and my brother used to play fight all the time. Then one day, he pushed me a little too hard, and I was very angry, to the point that I could not control my anger, and I did not know that I had this power within me. And before I realized, when I looked around me, everything was scorched, including my brother. So I vowed that I would one day control this power and it would not control me. It was not something I learned through texts or books or mastery. It was through time, through solitude, that little by little I learned to master the change from fire to acid to freezing cold waters. It took time.
Time. Very well, thank you.
And I quietly walk away.
And thank you for telling me that.
I've walked away. I'm kidding.
Well, I would have said that before you left.
So yeah, I like as he's saying that, I stop, look over my shoulder, and kind of give him a little nod, and then go my way.
Okay.
That's all. I keep walking.
You guys are greeted
we
downstairs by
we
Vernon
overheard-
for breakfast.
If we overheard that, I would say to Oreo, it was the same when I learned to break things with my hammer. Focus, oh, dude.
Yes, well, I shall tell you stories of my youth, maybe on a cold winter night as we travel through the frost.
But you head downstairs, and Vernon's rearranged all the tables, so it's like big, long communal tables basically, and everybody's eating, and you see that there's not very much food in front of everybody. It's clearly the stores that were left over weren't meant for this many people. But you see that you have some pretty hearty, sort of, not like normal, but definitely a little bit more has been put into your bowls in terms of gruel and porridge, with a few croutons and things, and you've been set a special place at the head of the table. It's like, oh, please, my friends, it's time to have some food before you set off. Thank you once again for everything you've done.
You are welcome, Vernon. Thank you very much for your kind hospitality. It is greatly appreciated. And I eat some of the thing, and I look around for maybe a little kid or something that looks a little less scrawny, and I hand over half of my bowl.
Okay. You find a little boy that looks a little, actually, not too badly kind of traumatized or hurt or anything, just a few scuffs and definitely dirt marks everywhere. Probably some part of the building collapsed on him, but Nora healed him up last night. And he seems alone. So you give the bowl to him, and he just looks up and just kind of smiles, and then just starts eating quite quickly.
And I ruffle his hair and go, "Don't worry, young boy. Things will always get better."
And he's like, looks up and goes, "Okay."
Yes, well, my that's my dealings with children done.
But you finish up your kind of porridgey gruel, and meet up with Velen, who, funnily enough, had not been in the room. She had disappeared sometime in the evening, and found other accommodation. But she meets up with you again in the hall of the tavern, and you set off to go towards the mines. Anything you'd like to do on the way there, or prepare in any way?
I prepared my spells for the day.
Sorry, go on, Calvin.
I was gonna actually find Oreo if we had a moment aside.
Just a DM question: do I manage to find a longbow, a short bow anywhere?
Roll an investigation check. Wait, actually. Yeah, roll an investigation check, but with your charisma with your persuasion proficiency.
So basically, roll a persuasion check.
Do you? Well, no, because it's still intelligence, I guess. But if you have proficiency in persuasion, you can add that.
I don't. Okay. But just a straight investigation. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. 15.
Okay. So, and you were looking for a longbow or a short bow?
Short bow.
Okay. So it takes you, a good 15, 20 minutes asking around the guards that have survived. A lot of them abandoned their weapons when they were sort of helped back into the tavern. But one of them managed to save his short sword and short bow, and he's more than honored to give it to you. He only has 5 arrows left, but he's happy to donate it to the heroes that saved the town.
I would not accept your charity, but here, and I give him 2 gold pieces and say thank you.
And that's months of wages kind of for him. So it's like, oh, and puts it in his little purse. And kind of, and you, he's never had that much money on him, and he's looking around.
Rebuild your family. And Oreo sort of turns around and walks off.
Okay. Anyone else? We good? Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna find Oreo if I had a moment.
Yeah.
Oreo, I've been playing that last fight in my head over and over again, and I jumped on that thing's back. As much as I'd like to think out of the courage of my own heart, but I feel like at the back of my mind I still knew that I would survive because of that troll heart. You were truly prepared to die in that moment.
The honest answer is, Caliban, yes. But basically, to save my friends and the people of these towns, it is a life, where we've chosen that is a difficult path. And sometimes one must sacrifice oneself for the, I was going to say the greater good, but I don't truly believe in the greater good. My father was a very selfish man, Caliban, and only thought about himself, and left my mother destitute and my siblings without any prospects. I was lucky and managed to fight and scrape my way up from the back streets of Kalasham, and managed to learn things and acquire knowledge, and I never want to treat anyone without the lack of respect that I was treated with. And these people were good people, had not done anything wrong. So one must do what one must do, and at the time, that seemed the right thing to do.
Well, if next time I don't have a get out of jail free card, I just hope I have your strength of character.
And I will sort of try to hold my hand out for a clasp.
And I clasp his hand and go, well, Caliban, we shall both live to see much more adventures, methinks, and you will always prove your heart to be true.
Thank you, my friend.
My honor and my pleasure, my friend.
And I guess we'll keep going.
Okay. You see the little kobolds. There's 3 of them apiece for each sort of sled, tying everything together, prepping the dogs, loading some food and stuff. And you set off, traveling towards the mine, which is, you've been told, is about 30 minutes away. So actually on dog sled it would only take you 15. And off you go. You're laughing at the sounds?
No.
No, at me and
You're doing a
Dervick.
private thing. Okay, got it.
It's nice to not be driving the sled, isn't it, Dervick?
It is a bit.
And-
I thought I might miss it, but I'm finding that I don't.
And to be able to drive it, you see that the kobolds are doing the whole three children in a trench coat type thing. They've got one large thing, and they're on top of each other, and the one that can see over the edge is kind of like shouting commands at the one that's in the middle to pull on the reins different ways. But it takes you very little time. The mine is in the woods northeast of the town. And so as you travel sort of in a relatively well-beaten path, by the way, the blizzard's still kind of raging, but through the woods, there's a little bit of protection from the elements. So you're able to have decent visibility as you approach the mine. The entrance to the mine is an open tunnel on a hillside. Empty carts are parked near the entrance, next to which a crude wooden sign has been propped up. Written on the sign in charcoal are the words, "Kobolds only," in common. But there's definitely signs of lots of footsteps from a few hundred people going into it.
I will use thaumaturgy and just boom my voice down the tunnel, and just say, to the people of, what was the name of the town?
Tourmaline.
The people of Tourmaline.
And Horus.
My name is
like
Caliban.
Horus.
Horus. My name is Caliban, and I am with Tier 4, the party that slew the dragon. It is safe now. You can come out.
All you hear is sort of the whistling winds.
Oh, bugger.
I'll plant the war pick in the ground, drop my shield, nobody follow. Hands up, and I'll boom out again. I'm walking in slowly, my hands are up. I am not your enemy, do not shoot me. Nobody follow.
Okay.
And
do you walk straight into the entrance?
casually stroll in, yes.
Okay.
DM, can I sneak behind him?
Yes. Sure. Roll a stealth check for me.
15. Got my best.
And Caliban, roll a perception check.
Natural 20.
Nice.
As you kind of walk through the threshold of the cave and your eyes adjust to the darkness, you sort of strain to hear, but it's a little bit easier once you've walked through the threshold and the wind doesn't quite blast you from every side. And you just hear faintly sort of voices, muffled voices. And as your eyes adjust, you see a small room with racks holding picks and hammers nailed to the walls of a small cavern. The floor is covered with rock dust and tracks. But also, as your eyes adjust, you see that seems to be just rubble everywhere, covering what might have been 3 different tunnels.
Do I see the people?
You want to get closer and have a look?
Yeah.
I think after he's been in for about a minute, I think, Akeem, we should go in as well.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Okay.
Pick up his sword and shield as well.
War pick, because my sword melted.
Oh yes, all right.
Which reminds me I need a new sword.
No, we're just going to take it and hide it. Stick it in a snowdrift somewhere.
You dicks.
As you all kind of congregate at this entrance, it's a small sort of cavern, only maybe 30 feet across. It's kind of irregular in shape. How tall is the ceiling? 1 second. Does it say? Yeah, so they're about 12 foot high in the opening and 7 foot through the tunnels. So the entrance was a 7-foot tunnel. And then as you open up to this small cavern where all the picks and instruments are, the ceiling looked like it was about 12 foot sort of in height, but there's a part of it higher up that seems to have come down, and some of it now is maybe 15 or 16 feet, and the rubble is all over the floor and in front of the what could be tunnels going to some other place.
I'm still using Thaumaturgy to boom my voice out. It's like, I'm still walking. I hear voices. I am walking unarmed. I'm approaching. I'm announcing myself. And I'll just walk towards where I hear the shuffling.
At this point, you hear from the other side of one of the what looked like to be openings that have been collapsed. You hear sounds like voices, but they're very muffled. They're trying to respond,
Hello.
but by the way, what's your passive perception, Oreo?
My passive perception is 18.
Okay. As you approach, you see and recognize that amongst the rubble, there's definitely signs that there was people on that spot. There's maybe little bits of clothing sticking out from a couple of rocks. Maybe just the corner of a leg in one particular spot. It's hard to tell. There was a lot of rubble.
If he points this out to me, I'll be, shit, someone give me my war pick.
I call back to the guys, come in.
Okay.
We gotta clear this rubble quickly. And I'm just gonna start whacking.
Everybody roll an athletics check. This is a group check.
Ooh, bollocks.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeesh.
okay.
Oh,
Thank God for that
17.
modifier. 15.
17.
60 minus 1, 15.
And if I can, I'm gonna cast a firebolt to try and break up some of the rocks.
You try to do that, and it sort of works, but right away you realize that it could be bringing down more rocks.
Okay.
Do you stop or you keep trying?
I'm
Akeem,
gonna.
do you
I'm gonna
have
stop.
that sphere, that flaming sphere?
Yes, I do.
Could you make it an acid sphere?
Yes, I can.
Wait, there could be survivors under this rock.
Yes.
Durbik, what was your athletics check? I didn't hear it.
13. Only 13.
13? Okay. So it takes you guys about an hour to clear enough rubble to suddenly, and amongst it you do find bodies. You find,
God.
so far you find there were what looks to be the remains of 15 residents of Tourmaline. As you're clearing more and more rubble, and some of it is kind of falling from the top as you're clearing from the bottom, and you're trying to kind of be smart about it and not let the whole thing collapse further. But at one point, a big rock does come loose from the top, and there's a gap, and suddenly you can actually hear what the people are saying. Help! Help!
Could still be a trap.
Can we call back to the trail and get the kobolds to come and help us move rocks?
Yeah, sure. You go out. Valence has kind of been sitting back with the kobolds protecting the sleds, but after you explain to her, she says, come on, quickly, guys, let's go inside. And she brings the sleds just next to the tunnel to try and make sure that the dogs are protected from the elements. And the kobolds start helping. They actually have equipment in their backpacks, little picks and things. And so they start chipping away at it. They're being a little indiscriminate, though. They're kind of like very gung-ho, so...
Okay. Well, I sort of try and guide them and go, no. Look.
Can I roll a performance check to try and, orchestrate them?
Avoid the squishy bits.
What would this be?
Persuasion?
Yeah, I'm going to say persuasion. Even though you're not trying to convince them, you're trying to,
Or
like
performance?
children, trying to steer them into positive action rather than indiscriminate destruction.
Persuasion?
Yep.
Okay.
Persuasion roll.
Oh, okay, so I rolled a 3, but it's plus 7, so 10.
All right.
13.
All right. There's a little bit of a collapse, but you did manage to kind of hold back their enthusiasm a little bit, and so they do seem to clear a little bit more. And you finally see a hand coming out of the top, and you can see there's a few faces looking by, and
I'll
says,
take the hand. I'll hold the hand as reassuringly.
We're gonna get you out of there, just be very still.
"Oh, thank you, my friends. There was a collapse. There's about 300 of us back here. We're trapped.
How much tunnel is behind you?
The mines go into very deep, dark tunnels. We don't know. We don't know how much.
Listen to me. Step back maybe 100 feet. Can you do that?
And there's a lot of voices trying to talk at the same time. It's like, shush. Yes, I'll tell everyone to step back. But please be quick. There's dark things in here. And you hear like the person shout at the others, and they seem the voices argue for like a quick second, but then they kind of seem to get a little bit fainter as they step back from the rest of the rubble.
Akeem, try and use an acid. Acid will graft the rocks together as well, so it may preserve some of the stability of the collapse. Try to go a bit under as well, in a sort of like a underpass type thing, and see if you can bore a hole through this.
That is exactly what I'm going to try.
Can we get Durbik's stone sense to find out the best way to do it?
Sure.
I'm hoping the acid will kind of weld the rocks together as well, slightly.
You should have taken more chemistry at high school, man. But
So I'm gonna try that.
Stone cutting is a history check, but this would be something different. This would be some kind of perception check, right?
Nature,
I would
maybe?
say survival check, but with your stone cutting proficiency.
But
Like
is that
your
for-
extra bonus from it.
Is that just for Durbik or for me?
Double your proficiency.
From
bonus.
Durbik, but if you help, you can also roll a survival check, but for
Yeah.
you it'll just be normal.
Oh,
Okay,
so
that
close.
is 26.
12. But yeah, I've just used up a what's it call it? A sorcery point and a spell slot to do acid hands and try and borrow a hole underneath.
Not acid sphere? Or like,
Well, I was gonna, but I'm gonna try and save that for later on because acid sphere is gonna be huge.
is it huge?
Okay.
I thought it was like
Quite
5
huge,
feet.
isn't it? Oh, is it?
It's like a 5-foot sphere.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it'll last longer. Acid hands might not go through far enough. Flaming sphere is like a minute, isn't it? So it's kind of like a
that-
drill.
In that case, it will be acid sphere.
Wait, 1 second. I need to look up the DC of stone. Sorry, AC. Not DC. AC, DC. But okay, that doesn't have that. Flaming Spirit doesn't need AC actually. Okay. All right, roll your damage. So
All
you'll be able
right.
to you'll be able to hold it there. For how long is the flaming sphere last? Because it's concentration. that
Minute,
I can-
right?
It is, yeah, up to 1 minute.
Up to 1 minute. Okay.
Come on.
The actual damage is, let's see.
16 is what I rolled.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that would do it because if you're able to hold it there for the full minute, that is like 16 points of damage every 6 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, so this globule of green kind of pulsating kind of, and
That's so cool.
once again you see like a tiny shadow that looks like a little sort of snake, but there's also like some maybe wings sort of writhing inside, but coiled up like it's a baby.
Ooh.
Just the faintest. Like every time you kind of look at it, it's like you can't quite see it, and then it just sort of you look away and it's there, and you look again.
Bleh.
It just goes tss, and you slowly move it forward, and it does take a whole minute, but it bores up like a perfectly round 5-foot hole all the way through until you finally get to the other side. Some of the stones collapse as well as this is happening, but they fall into the sphere and they get melted. So eventually you kind of have this sort of trench cutting through, and it's about 10 feet worth that you have to cut through to get to the other side. And you see
I high five Akeem.
Now, as soon as this happens, as he's got his hand up, I turn around, look at him dead in the eye, and go, "Time and solitude."
I just like put my hand up.
Yeah.
just like respect. All right, now wait for the fumes to pass, and like when it's fully like stopped, melted, I will walk through myself.
Okay. Let's double check. Cool. So, and you see that there's a few, like, from just around the tunnel that's maybe 50 feet long, just around the corner of it, there's people looking. And it's like they're sort of as far back as possible. By the way, you did melt through a bunch of other bodies as well on the way. They looked dead, but there was another 15 people or so.
I will go through with Caliban as well and provide light at the other end. And especially if they said they were worried about dark things in there, I'm going to assume that they could just be imagining it because it's been a very traumatic night. But I'm going to assume that I need to be on lookout for anything that might try and take some before they get out.
I'll just look at them all and say, "Quickly now, through the hole. It's perfectly safe. Actually, one at a time. Actually, let's just be on the safe side." And I'll.
Well, we were. Sorry, sir. We've been told to stay here. We're concerned that we couldn't get back out if we wanted to, but we came here to avoid the massive dragon that was destroying our town. So, it's not that we want to stay here, but And there's just a moment of silence and just kind of shock and like, roll a persuasion check. See if this
Does the
lady
truth
believes
give
you.
me advantage? Natural 20.
There's a moment of silence and like shock, and they're like, and like they just swarm you and like, you know, touch you. Like there's this kind of like, you know, like the Beatles kind of meeting their fans kind of moment. In fact, you do feel a little bit of a tug, and you swear that there's a little bit of less fur on some of the top of your cape, like someone like got a souvenir. And they're like, thank you. Oh, you must come and meet Oris. He'll be so happy. Oh, we can go back in.
We can do this in a moment. The priority is getting you guys out of this house of cards. Quickly now.
Where are we going?
We're going to go back to town. You're going to regroup with the people of the town, and we're going to figure out a plan from there to gather the survivors. There's been quite a bit of damage.
Oh, okay. And so about 30 of them, the ones that were there, sort of run out past into the entrance. But you can see that there's...
Go with them.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, running out past. Sorry, I thought they were running back into the darkness.
No, they're running. They're going where you told them to go outside.
Sorry. I'll try to space them out just in case so they don't like all cram into each other and collapse the acid hole.
And I'll make my way to the tail end of the crowd and encourage people so that I'm in the dark part, except it's going to be light now because I've got the hammer lit up. Encouraging people to make their way forward in an orderly way.
And people look at you in awe. They're like staring at the hammer as they go past. Like, you know, a lot of them have never even seen magic before. And to see such a legendary sort of weapon shining and illuminating, it's kind of the most sensational thing they've ever seen, basically.
And can anyone tell me about anything that they've actually seen dangerous in this tunnel?
The ones that are the 30 that are there, I was going to send them past you where Caliban sent them. But do you want to interrogate any of them or talk to them?
No. I'm just, as I'm making my way back, I just want to see if I hear anyone talking about something, or, you know, as I'm talking to them, ask if they've seen anything dangerous.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm still making my way through the crowd to the back, though.
Okay. And as you do, you see the next room over, sort of maybe 20 feet in front of you. And in there, what you see is benches and tables set up as workspaces where miners clean any gemstones they would find. Gravel and pebbles strewn on the ground, and scattered across the floors are a few hammers, picks, and broken lanterns. But amongst this, there's maybe another 50 people sort of huddled in the corners, sort of keeping warm, you know, with blankets and stuff. You see amongst them what looks to be, you know, maybe 6'10", half orc with a kindly face, sort of talking and sort of stroking the hair of a young lady, and then moving over to a couple of old people in the corner. But as the light shines that you're bringing with your hammer, he looks around sort of in fear and like goes to draw out his sword.
It's all right. Oris, you must be Oris. I have some good news. The dragon has been defeated, and we're here to release the townspeople back to the town.
Thank goodness. That is very welcome news. We were trapped. Some Duergar collapsed the tunnel on us.
You didn't happen to see where they went, did you?
No, they literally collapsed the entrance on us. We didn't dare go deep. We had to fight the kobolds to gain even just this space. And there's definitely some other darker things in the depths. We've had other peoples disappear and go missing.
Well, let's get people through the cave, and we've got a tunnel cleared. Let's get them through, and I'll be rear guard here.
Very well. And he starts to get people up and kind of usher them and kind of encourage them to go past you. And you get another maybe 50, 60 people through. Actually, no, let's say 100. There's a few others that would be in this room there's sort of 3 ways out. One that you came of, and then right next to it there's another tunnel going off to the northeast, and there's a tunnel going away in the opposite direction down south. The others were in the river cavern. That's the only place with fresh water. I'll if you stand guard here, I can go get the rest.
All right.
He disappears.
Why don't I
off
come
into
with
the...
you? Why don't I come with you?
Very well, thank you, my friend. Your name?
Durbik Blackhammer.
It is an honor to meet you, Durbik. He shakes your hand.
Let's go save your people.
As you go through the tunnels and into the next cavern, you reach sort of a large cavern, maybe 40 foot, sort of round, very irregular shaped. But there's a sort of a underground river flowing from the far side, which is supported by a natural stone pillar near the water's edge. Between you and the river, you see 2 halfling-sized rodents that have been killed. So basically rats the size of dogs, large dogs.
Or US's.
We lost
yes,
a couple of people to those, I'm afraid.
UFS, yes.
I don't believe in them.
But you see that in this room there seems to be the rest of the people, some of them trying to drink from the river, like huddled in corners, and the showing of the light from your hammer, they all sort of cower in fear, but after they see Oris, they seem sort of to calm down. He says, "My friends, rescue has come. The dragon has been defeated, and we can go back to town." And there's sort of disbelief and kind of hushed whispers, and they look back at him for sort of confirmation. They can't quite believe it, and he just kind of nods with a very kind of not stern, actually, more kindly and fatherly kind of look. And some of them don't seem convinced, they don't seem to trust him, but the large part of them just kind of cheer and once again come to shake your hand and touch you, and like they're sort of bending down and shaking your hand and saying thank you, and they're running past and trying to get out of the tunnel.
I am trying to watch the dark spaces behind them. Yeah, I mean, it's great to get some support and positive, and I'm glad they're happy, but I'm worried about what's behind them.
There's another tunnel going up away from here that seems to rejoin back towards where the entrance would have been. And out of there's just a few more people coming out after some of the ones that are in this room go fetch them. And you gather that that's, at least from the way Oris seems to kind of then turn around and follow them, that was all the survivors.
Okay, good.
Anything else you follow?
I'm just the rear guard. Yeah, I'll be the last one in the crowd.
You usher them out, and they all go past you guys, Akeem, Caliban, and Oreo. Just, maybe in total there would have been about 250 left alive out of the 300 that came in here.
Would Durbik have relayed the thing about the Durgar in this cavern?
Yeah. Yep.
Once we're all out, if we all step outside the mine and gather everyone just in the opening, Akeem, blow up the entrance.
As you wish. And
Do you say this in normal voice, Caliban?
Yeah.
And Oris goes, please, this is the only livelihood of our town. If you eliminate this, we will not have anything to trade for food.
Very good.
I understand that it might not be safe, but perhaps we can come back later and remove any dangers.
Very well.
Yes. Very well, definitely. Right.
I'm just picturing Akeem there with the fireball.
I was ready. I was ready.
I can't just turn this off.
And as you all kind of get to the entrance of the cave, outside the blizzard is still going, and what you see is the villagers and the kobolds standing like in a Mexican standoff. Everybody holding like basically mining picks, both the kobolds and the villagers, because
Wait.
These kobolds are nice kobolds. They helped kill the dragon.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
And I will go, yes. No, these are good kobolds.
Okay, so a 4 and a natural
Okay.
20.
Well,
That's good.
my initial roll without advantage was 21, but then when I rolled with advantage, I got 19.
That's enough. They believe you. Once again, they're a little bit wary. In fact, they had to chase some other kobolds only like a few hours ago to be able to defend the cave. So they're not comfortable around these newcomers, but they kind of begrudgingly accept him. Horus looks out and goes, "Darn. Blizzard. It's going to be a difficult trek back to town." And he looks to you guys and says, "Are our homes still standing? Because if there's no heat and no walls, we will perish."
Half of them, I think.
Okay.
Yes, about 50%.
There's enough shelter for everybody, but there might be a bit of top entailing.
This is only half of our population. The rest decided to make the trek to Targos, so we should be able to make do, although there might have to be, and he looks around to them, some rearrangements as to who sleeps in whose house, but we will see what we can do. Bundle up, folks. It's gonna be a cold walk back to town.
And I say, well, some people might enjoy the new sleeping arrangements. You never know.
All right. Do you guys sort of just... do you guys leave them to it? Do you do anything to help them back to town?
I guess accompany them.
We'll escort them back, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how would you do that?
I'm gonna keep a perimeter with Trailblazer, just sort of, because he can sort of jog, and these guys are gonna be walking, so I'm just sort of gonna, at a slightly faster pace than them, just circle them as they're moving.
Okay.
And
Is
I put one
everybody
sled,
else...
sled at the back.
Okay. Is anyone riding on the sleds, and is who's walking, who's riding on the sleds?
I can walk.
Yeah, there's some injured. Like, should we load up the sleds with injured townspeople?
Yeah, we'll load up some of the injured townspeople, and I will track ahead using my newfound survival ranger skills.
Very well. Please roll a survival check.
And I'll stay at the back, hoping the Dwergar come out.
I'm going to stay off D&D Beyond dice. They're not good. 12.
12 with all your advantages and things?
No advantage. I didn't roll with advantage.
No, I mean with your your pluses, because this is your favorite terrain. I think you get to double your proficiency.
Great. So no. So that's Your favorite terrain is. So that's a double. So that becomes 15.
Okay. So the first, there's a lot of you, and you're walking quite slowly because you're trying to make sure everybody sort of stays together. So the first half hour, walking back goes by without a hitch. You sort of shouting back to each other between, Akeem, Durbik, and Caliban at different points of the convoy to make sure no one gets lost. And you think you've been able to kind of keep everybody together. But roll again for me for the next stretch.
Oh, that's better. That's 21.
Very well. The rest of the journey goes off without a hitch. You eventually reach the edges of Tourmaline, and you can barely see the end of the convoy, actually. Between your sort of feline eyes and your ability to kind of be familiar with this terrain, you can just make the end where the other sled is. But everybody else can only see maybe 30, 60 feet in front of them. And so it's kind of like a bubble around where you only see a few people, and then it's kind of just fog. But you reach this edges of town, and everybody kind of makes their way towards the tavern and towards some of the buildings, and gets inside. They all just get inside the first building they can find, basically, between with Ors kind of directing the action and making sure everyone has a place to stay.
Well,
You didn't lose anybody in the convoy. Nice rolling.
well, I think that's that. Vernon in the Blue Clam looked after us very well, Boris.
That is good to hear. He's a good friend.
And a good man. We have many things to do, so we will take our leave of you. But good luck, Horace.
Thanks again for all your assistance. You will always have a place to stay in Tourmaline. I would also offer food and shelter, but I do not know if we will have enough to last us. But we will do what we can if you ever come back. Thank you again, my friends.
Thank you. Right. Dwarves?
I vote Targos, personally.
I thought East Haven. I thought we were going to go check on the refugees at East Haven. And
I know, but we've already seen that there are refugees going to be going to Targos, and I don't want to give Nerth any time to make his move. If you guys all think differently, I won't object. This is a democratic group after all, but that's my thought.
I wasn't around with the Nerf incident. Could someone enlighten me?
Nerth is, after capturing one of his subordinates, we learned that he is a member of, what is the name of the Thieves Guild?
Zentarum. He was he's Prudence's boss, but he was also the town speaker of Targos and the boss's boss for Caliban.
Nerth, the town speaker of Targos, is a den leader of the Zentarum. What could someone with that capacity for scheming do in this chaos?
Yes, but what do we want to do? We want to go in and what will we do when we're there, Caliban? What is your plan?
Eliminate him.
No, I'm all for
or expose him. Stop him from being able to carry out any of what he plans to.
Do we have evidence we can use to expose him?
We did. But with a little bit of, cat burglary.
I look at Oreo.
Perhaps we could uncover some more. And failing that, ice cracks and people fall through, never to be seen again all the time.
Yeah, yes, I'm all for an extrajudicious sanctioned accident. But is that the most pressing matter we have to deal with?
What about Ravizan? We still haven't tied that up.
I would definitely like to do that while we're in the right part of the Dale now. It's a good point, Akeem.
We can go to Ravizan. I've just seen what a man like that can do if he's given enough time to.
I'm afraid I'm with Ori on this. I'm having trouble seeing, unless we go and he's, opened a Temple of Death and surrounded it with skulls. I'm a little worried about what we could actually do.
Opens the gates, earns the people's trust, solidifies his hold, and basically sets up an operation that's going to be much harder to root out.
I understand that that's the concern. I'm trying to figure out what we could do about it feasibly.
Get him alone.
I could just fireball wherever he is.
Yeah, but
I was like, there you go.
Extrajudicious accidents, one thing. Fireballing him in front of the whole townspeople when he's the town speaker, after just letting everyone into the refugees into the town, probably not so wise.
Do you think anyone will notice? I just say that joking.
Well, I tell you what,
Nora pipes up and goes, you've done a great deal for 10 towns, and so I will not even judge you for this conversation, but my priorities is the healing and rescuing of people. If you wish to be part of political intrigue, I will take my leave. You will find me in East Haven and Goodmead, trying to save anybody that's ill there.
I'm
happy to regroup at a later time.
No, you're right. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We should regroup at East Haven first things first. See who is alive and who's not. The sooner we know what we have and know what we don't have, the better we can make a plan.
Yeah.
I mean, we can unite the rest of 10 towns against him. That would be a good plan.
You're not wrong, actually.
And we have a small amount of capital to use.
Right, to East Haven, shall we?
Yes.
Do we want to stop at the dwarves first, or straight to East Haven?
Are the dwarves on the way to East Haven?
Yeah,
Only if you cut through the tundra, which is more dangerous, you might get might encounter things.
I
But
would
yes,
say
you can.
I would say to Nora, we saw the track for the dragon on that mechanical table, and it did not include overnight with the dwarves. So I think East Haven is probably our most urgent stop to provide help.
Indeed, I agree.
All right.
I'm worried about a Duergar incursion to my people, but you're right. It did not seem to be a priority on the dragon's targets.
Okay.
And I think we go across the tundra. It will save us time. Because otherwise we have to go all the way down to Targos, or through Bryn Shader, all the way along the eastway to East Haven. Cross the tundra should save us some time. Then we hit the road and go down from Caer Dineval's, hit the road on Caer Dineval and go down. Sorry, I've been studying my maps.
Plus, the dogs know the way. They just came this route last night, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So you set off for East Haven through the tundra, and you want to stop at the Dwarven Valley?
No, we're not stopping at Dwarven Valley. We're going straight to East Haven.
Okay. So I'm assuming this time you don't want to do the 10-hour journey all in one stretch and risk exhaustion. So you're going to pause and sleep. And...
No, I think as long as Velen's okay with it, if she's not in a rush, then yeah, I think we can be a bit more.
I'd rather arrive rested and able to help.
Very well. All right, with the kobolds driving the sleds and you guys actually, Caliban, you have your mount?
I have Trailblazer, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to ride him?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Cool. And you set off through the tundra. Yep. Cool. Okay.
Yep.
Then we go back to the sounds of the doggies. Yeah. Cool. All right. So you set off, and it's actually still kind of mid-morning because you woke up really early to go to the mines to try and see what Oris was up to. And you dash off into the cold and frozen tundra. The blizzard seems to have abated for now. It lasted quite a few hours, but it seems to be a relatively clear sort of mid-morning / noon. Anyone on lookout or anything like that you want to? Okay.
I will keep an eye on everything, and I will sort of help steer the thing. I'm getting into my I'm like, I'm enjoying the Arctic now. A little cold, but I like it.
I can take it in turns with Oreo
Okay.
as well.
If you can both roll a perception check for me.
Really? 8. Can't see shit.
At 19.
Okay. The day is a little uneventful, but it's somewhat nice to be able to kind of just I was gonna say chill out. As you're tracking across the tundra through the frozen wasteland, seeing you just rocks and juts of ice coming out from each sort of corner, up and down hills of packed snow, and few trees completely covered in snow, so it looked more like a popsicle, sort of a sugar dusted ornament of some kind.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
You stop for a quick meal of sort of hard tack and unleavened bread and just a few bits and pieces that you can eat without sort of starting a fire, which would be difficult without wood. Akeem can always create it, but then there's nothing to burn.
Yep.
And you keep journeying until sort of dusk. And as you're beginning to think about perhaps camping down for the evening, Oreo, you... Actually, 1 second. That might not apply here. You said 18, right?
Yep.
18.
I'm alert to danger even when I'm doing other things, according to my natural explorer. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
The 6-dog open sleigh.
6-dog open sleigh with kobolds at our rear. Here we go is here. More screaming. On we go.
So Ken, how do we feel about the RSV?
Natural 20 plus 7. As you guys are kind of just discussing camping down for the night, suddenly, out of nowhere, 3 crag cats leap out of the snow on each side. 1 aiming for Caliban, and 2 sort of trying to get someone on the sled. I'm gonna see if it gets... Let's go see if it gets kobolds or party members. Sorry, actually, choose even or odds, party.
Odds.
Okay.
Odds.
I like the kitties. I hope they come to us.
All right. 1
yeah,
for a
come on.
kobold and 1 for one of the party. I'm gonna choose. Let's see, is 3 of
Come
you.
at me, bro.
So
No, me.
No, it's all good.
1 or 2 is Durbik. 3 or 4 is Akeem, and 5 or 6 is Oreo. 3, so that's Akeem. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Everyone roll for initiative.
Oh.
Let's try to tame these.
9.
And
Really?
11.
6.
Oh, natural 20. 22.
all right. So 6 for Caliban. Natural 20 for Durbik for a total of
22.
22. Sorry, Akeem, what was yours?
9.
9. Oreo
11.
and Nora 7. Let me roll for Velen as well. 11.
Dre, you want us to control Nora rather than you because you've got Velen as well?
Yes, please. If that's all right.
I'll open her up.
Okay, so first thing is the pounce. So, Akeem, roll a strength saving throw.
Where the hell is that?
Under saving throws on your character sheet.
Oh, yeah, got it. Okay. STR? -1. Okay.
Same for
Oh,
you,
12.
Caliban. And one of the
Strength saving
kobolds.
throw.
Yeah. Strength saving throw.
12.
Yes. Bronze die.
Okay.
Right, remember, guys, anyone within 10 feet of me gets +4. I rolled a 14, so that's 22.
You wouldn't be within 10 feet if you were kind of either running behind or in front of the convoy.
Just putting it out there.
No. So what's your roll, Caliban?
22. Strength
Okay,
saving.
so you're able to shake off the cat as it tries to basically throw you off of Trailblazer. But Akeem and one of the kobolds are knocked off of the sled and tumble in the snow as the cat starts scratching and kind of clawing at them. So roll. This is like a surprise. You're surprised, so the cats get a roll first.
So, Dre, I was going to ask about this. In a surprise situation, I get to act normally.
Okay. So
because of the virile sense or whatever it is.
You get to go
Virile
first.
sense is something else. I think you can get pills for that.
So this is happening. They've pounced and Akeem's falling off, but you have a split second to sort of react if you want to.
It says as long as I enter a rage before doing anything else. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so are the cats close enough to me that I can physically reach them, or are they too far away?
I would say the one that's knocking Akeem off the sled. I'll say you were on the same sled, so it's
Okay.
happening in front of your eyes.
So we played this game before. I'm going to grab the cat and try and pull it off of Akeem before it does anything to him.
All right, contested athletics roll.
And let's see. Since I'm raging, I get. Do I get advantage on that?
Yes, you do. Advantage to athletics.
Strength. Awesome.
So I got a 10.
I got a dirty 20.
All right. So I will say you're able to grab the cat off of Akeem, and
Yep.
so he's unable to be knocked off of the sled. So you're fine, Akeem.
Yeah.
But
And
the cat will actually then. So yeah, you got 2 attacks. So you've used one of your attacks to grapple. What would you
Yeah.
like to do first?
Okay, so last time we did this, I grabbed it off of Caliban and threw it over in the snow so that then I could really attack it. I think that worked out as a pretty good tactic. Because otherwise, I can't pull my hammer out. I'm going to have to just hit it. I think it's better to throw it away and then attack it. So does that take both of my attacks, or?
One
So
of
in
the
other
attacks was the grappling. You have one more to do something, like if you want to shove it and throw him.
I'm just going to throw it out into the snow.
Okay, contested athletics roll again, which you get advantage for.
Smash.
That's a natural 20 for a 27.
You throw it 10 feet away into the snow.
Yeah.
And actually, I would say, yes, technically the sled is still moving because
Okay.
the other one's the one that lost the kobold.
Okay. Good.
Okay. So it's the Crag Cat's turn, and one of them's going to attack Caliban during the pounce that failed, so he gets his claw attack. 15 to hit, doesn't hit, does it?
Misses.
Okay. The other one will do his claw attack on the kobold. I need to bring up the kobolds.
Poor kobold.
Armor class 14 plus... Misses. The little guy's like, ah. So he's able to kind of withstand that. Okay. And that's their turn. And now it's back to the top of the round.
My turn? Oh no, sorry, surprise.
No, you guys
Yeah.
were surprised.
Yeah.
So it is now back to being Durbek's turn.
Throwing the hammer.
The sleds would have moved another 40 feet, so the kobold's out the back, and as is the Crag Cat that was trying to get Akeem, because you threw him off. The one
Yep.
that's attacking Caliban, unless Caliban stopped in its tracks.
I still would have stopped.
Okay, so that one's engaged with Caliban.
Okay, so I'm more than 40 feet away from the thing, right? And there's a kobold back there too?
Roughly 45 feet, something like that. It's
Okay,
kind of
so
like
I'm jumping off the sled, I'm running towards the cat. I'm not going to close the full distance, so I'm going to throw the hammer at it twice.
Okay, very well. Roll to hit.
The first one is a 12.
For Craig Cats, that is 1 second. Where's the there? 12 to hit, misses.
Okay.
They're quite
And the
agile little
second-
things. So
Is it 16? 16?
16 hits. Roll your damage.
That is 10 plus. So 13 points of damage.
Nice. So the hammer hits it right on the side of the body, and it goes skidding and falls to the side and just skids across the snow. And for a moment, it looks like it's kind of really been hit hard, but it shakes it off and stands up again and turns around, and like its hair just kind of stands up all around and starts doing that kind of low kind of that cats do. That's one of them. It is Nora's turn. Who's controlling her?
I've got Nora at the moment. She is going to cast Bless at second level
Okay.
on Akeem, Caliban, and Durbek.
Okay. It is Velen's turn, and I will make her cast. 1 second. Yeah, she will take out her wand, point it at the crackhead that's attacking the kobold, and cast magic missile. So you see like three little skulls just go and hit, causing 4, 2, 3, 6. That's 9 points of damage to the same crag cat that Durbek is hitting with his hammer. Okay, and it's Orio's turn.
So Oreo, I turn around because the sled's still going forward, right? Yes.
Let's see, what is the kobold? Well, unless you order the kobolds to stop.
Yeah. So I've ordered as I turn around, I ordered the kobold to stop, and I turn around and leap off the back of the sled. As I'm in the air, I'm short bow drawing and firing at the one that's attacking the kobold.
Okay, very well.
Nice.
And that is going to be that is going to be a 22 to hit.
That definitely hits the crag cat.
Oh, hang on, sorry. Oh no, I didn't. I did it. I'm not going to retrospect it, so I didn't say it. So I'm not used to it yet. I was going to bonus action Hunter's Mark it, but but I didn't retrospect it. So
Okay.
that's going to be 9 points of damage with the short bow, which I haven't
Okay.
named yet.
Very well. It's engaged with the kobold, who's an ally.
Oh, good. Yes,
If that's the
sorry.
one you're firing at.
Yeah, sneak attack. Oh dear. That's a further 13 points of damage.
How do you want to kill your crag cat?
As I leap through the air, I take aim and I just slot it straight through the neck.
Okay.
Leave my kobolds alone.
It falls into the snow, and it's white. It is white. The snow is white, and so like the blood is just so stark, just this bright red across the fresh snow. Make sure I killed this one. Okay, it is Akeem's turn, and what you
I'm
see
pissed.
is Durbek and Oreo have killed one of the one that was attacking the kobold, and off to the side, kind of to your right, is the one that attacked you that Durbek threw off.
You know exactly what it's gonna get. I'm sick and tired of these cats coming up in here thinking they're badass. You know what? It's gonna get fireball at the 3rd level.
Fireball?
I don't
Amazing.
care. I'm gonna take it out. It's like as in like I don't want any chance of survival for it.
At
Okay.
least the meat's already cooked that way.
You channel your power and sling your little sort of bead of pure red energy and flies towards the crag cat. And the crag cat gets to roll.
Really?
doesn't-
That isn't terrible.
Okay, what is the DC?
DC's 15.
Okay, so the crag cat just manages to dart out of the way last minute, so it only takes half damage. What was the total damage?
24.
Ooh, that would have been good.
So
But
annoying.
it pounces out of the way and it just singed, and
So
like one
annoying.
half of him is like hairless now, and it just looks at you with hatred and starts sort of bounding towards you.
Keep coming, bro. There's more where that came from.
How much you can move? Yeah, he can run. So he closes the distance and once again dives at you. So roll another strength saving throw for me.
Fucking hell. 1.
1. It hits you like square in the chest and lands right on top of you and starts scratching at you. Does a 16 to hit you?
Yes. 16 does hit.
Okay, that's 1d10 plus 3, 1d10 plus 3. You take 13 points of slashing damage, and you're prone on the ground, so you'll have to stand up to be able to not attack with disadvantage. That's that one. The other one is in combat with Caliban, so it's going to...
Come on.
I think he only has one claw attack, doesn't he? Doesn't say. Probably I have multi-attack, but it doesn't say. Alright, he's gonna try to bite you. Ooh, nice. 24 to hit.
That does hit.
For 12 points of slashing damage. Does it really not have
well.
multi-attack? I guess not. Okay, it is Caliban's turn.
Okay, the one who just slashed me, I am going to bonus action Legacy of Avernus to cast Searing Smite on my war pick,
And your war pick is aflame.
and I am going to take a swing.
Roll to hit, please.
Does a 14 hit?
14 does hit.
Okay, and I'm going to pump a second level Divine Smite into that.
All right. You mutter
So-
a prayer, and divine energy pulses through your hands and lights up your hammer with a bright glowing sort of yellow golden energy on top of the flaming.
So that's full damage, 12 total of piercing damage for the war pick,
Okay.
plus an additional 9 points of fire damage,
Okay.
plus less good, 10 points of radiant damage.
Oof. The cat is kind of knocked about and just on fire, and then the divine energy as well. Like your pick just went straight through the top kind of part of its shoulder, and it poked out from sort of the underside of its breastbone. It's very badly hurt and bleeding.
Second attack,
Oh shit! All right.
natural 18 plus 7, yeah.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah.
if 14 hit, you know.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, 7 plus 4, 11 points of piercing damage.
How do you want to kill your crag cat?
This time I'm going to expertly maneuver the long end of the war pick to go under the crag cat's arm and pierce its heart, and just let it sort of bleed internally to death in a sort of quick way.
Okay. You swiftly do so, and just kind of... you almost feel bad. It just kind of goes limp and sort of reminded of your house cat back in Waterdeep, but, you know...
Did I
you're
kill
still
my
a little-
house cat?
No, just kind of the way it just kind of goes limp.
Okay.
But at the same time, this bastard tried to take a chunk out of you, so it's kind of a conflicted feeling.
Now we know what you're going to have nightmares about tonight.
And it's back to Durbek's turn. There's one cat left. That's
And
been
it's the one that's-
fireballed by Akeem.
Oh wait, sorry. With my movement, can I run towards the guys?
Yeah. Well, you're on top
How-
of Trailblazer, so you can move him 50 feet.
Yeah, I'll move Trailblazer 50 feet towards the guys where the other
Okay.
Karkat is.
How far is the last cat from me?
Well, it's actually right next to you. Well, I know, because he ran back towards Akeem because of the fireball. So it'll be like 20, 30 feet back where the sled was.
Okay, so I'm running towards it to get in range so that I can throw the hammer.
All right. As you sprint back and throw your hammer, roll to hit.
15 hits, right?
Yep, it does. Roll your damage.
Is not great. It is 11 points of damage.
Okay. Good to know.
And the second throw is a 27.
That definitely hits.
This is better. 12. 17 points of damage.
How do you want to kill your Karkat?
I'm kind of hitting it from behind, so I think this is a break the back, crush the back hips kind of a throw.
Oof, just sort of a final sort of killing blow. Just gonna, and there's just kind of this impact where it goes, and then it kind of stretches out. Have you ever seen a boxer that's got really hit, like hit so hard that it has a concussion, and both of the arms kind of go like this, and then he falls over? You kind of see the same with a cat. There's kind of this moment of rigidity, and then it hits the floor.
Good kitty. Sleep kitty.
And you guys are out of combat.
Right. I turn to the kobolds. Special dinner tonight.
Tasty. And one of them, the one that got brutally savaged. Actually, he didn't get hit, did he?
No, he dodged it, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. That would have been... Where are the names? I have them here. Ugh, too many notes. I'm gonna say that was Meepo.
Meepo?
Yeah, Meepo was the one that had the scare. Thank you, Mr. Durbek. Thank you, Mr. Arya.
Anytime.
You're welcome, Meepo. Meepo, no problem at all. Yes, well, I think I shall name my shortbow Meepo in your honor, as it's got the first kill.
And he beams with pride at the other ones that look a little bit like, oh, damn it.
Their FOMO kicks in, right?
Yeah. They're all kind of like, they're gonna basically, you can tell that they're gonna try to outcompete each other to get in dangerous situation to have the honor of having stuff named after them. Anyway, Velen
All right,
looks around and
let's
says, well, I see my, what's the opposite of suspicion? Like, my...
Presumption?
My...
Intuition?
Basically, what she thought about you is right. She's like, I'm very happy that you are accompanying me. It seems you are as talented as I had heard. Very well. Should we camp for the night?
I think that this might be a good place to start. Sure. We
am quite hungry.
The kobolds.
Who wants fried cat?
And the kobolds are more than happy, but Valen's like, I think I will stick to the jerky, thank you.
I think that might be verging on cannibalism.
Why?
And I just click the claws out.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant her, not you. Very well. Tell you what, you take my portion of the rations then. As well.
With everyone's help, I will try and butcher and cook the cats.
Okay. As you do this, it's only 8 hours actually.
We'll feed the dogs as well.
Yes.
And right before everyone eats, I'll get them to put it all together and I'll cast Purify Food and Drink, just in case. So that removes any poison or disease from food or drink in a 5-foot cube.
Okay. And as you kind of share a meal and wait sort of for evening to set. Velen waits for kind of the last possible moment before going to bed, before casting her spell. But she sits down maybe at about sort of 10, 11 p.m. and opens her spell book in front of her and starts muttering words and sort of waving her fingers through the air. The kobolds watch in awe. And then after about 10 minutes, as she says one final word and traces sort of a little kind of like a figure 8 with her finger in the air and just taps it, you see it sort of kind of spiral out, and suddenly a dome that is 10 foot in radius, so 20 foot total diameter around everybody, just kind of, and it's kind of whitish in color this time. She's kind of cast it to be as camouflaged as possible in the current situation that you're in. It's semi-transparent, but it seems to have a white kind of look to it. And suddenly inside you're not cold anymore. In fact, with the amount of clothes that you have on, it's room temperature for like a normal country. So it's actually kind of hot with everything on.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is so much better.
I'm like, this.
Yes, I wouldn't want to travel in these parts without this very handy spell. Yes?
Very handy.
Yes, indeed.
I think we should still maintain a watch, though.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very well. I will take. If it's all right with you folks, I'm not particularly adept at seeing in the dark, and in fact, she has she's a human, has an eye patch as well. So I will leave the watch
can
to
see
you.
in the dark, right?
Yes, very well actually. So they can take first watch if you guys like.
Yes.
Yeah. And between all of us, we probably only need to spend an hour each watching.
I will leave that to you. So, who's taking watch and when?
I'll go after the kobolds.
Okay.
Oh, Akeem, you're muted. I'll take.
It's a good thing you're muted for that one.
I was like, son of a mother. I'll go after Caliban.
I'll take the dawn watch. I'll take the last watch.
Okay. Excellent. You hunker down for the night, and it's the first warm, really warm sleep that any of you has had in a while. Durbik, you're actually kind of not used to this. Like, to you, the only warm sleep is next to a fire. This is odd. It's kind of even temperature. There's not one warm side and one cold side that you have to keep rotating or anything. Your sleeping bag's actually really like full of fur, and you're like, this is weird not having it open up. It's very confusing. Like, it's just not,
Got it.
But you each sort of go to sleep. And what is your passive perception, Akeem?
My passive perception, hold on, is 11.
Okay.
And I've got dark vision of 60 feet.
Excellent. So as you take your watch and sort of look at the stars and the aurora once again, it's around about midnight, sort of, middle of the night, and sort of lights up the sky, and you're trying to look around. But the wind picks up and slowly whips itself back into a blizzard. And the visibility gets really, really low. And the sound is just so loud, the wind. You're struggling. You're trying to look around, trying to keep everyone safe, but it's hard to pierce it. Roll a perception check with disadvantage.
Really? 6.
All right. You can't really see or hear anything, but you keep trying to peer out. Like, the dome is perfectly warm and enclosed, but on the outside you see battering of sort of snowflakes and the wind kind of whipping across it and rippling. If you look closely, you can see sort of the magic sort of sigils and little kind of what do you want to call them? almost like runes and bits of kind of magic code that are weaving this dome, reacting and kind of intensifying when things are kind of coming across it and hitting it. But that's all you can see clearly because of just how strong the blizzard on the other side.
Can I cast dancing lights in order to be able to see things better?
You can cast them inside the dome. I'm not sure you can make them go outside the dome.
Because it
1
has
second,
120 foot range.
Yeah, but the dome prevents magic, so let me just
okay.
double check. Prevents magic from getting in. So if you try to cast on the other side of the dome, you like cast your spell, and it just kind of seems to sort of just dissipate as it goes through the barrier and disappear.
Okay.
You could go slightly outside and cast it, and then back into the dome.
No. I'll stay in the dome, thank you very much.
After about 30 minutes of the blizzard, you see something. You see very bright lights sweeping across, lighting up very indistinctly bits of the blizzard.
Okay.
But it's kind of this bright whiteness, like shining across the otherwise kind of grayish dark of the night.
At this point, I try to go to the edge of the dome. Am I able to see things better if I get closer to the edge, or do I have to step outside to see things better?
If you're trying to look closer at these lights by getting as close to the dome and having a look, you can roll another perception check with disadvantage.
Yep, I'd like to do that. That's better. 16.
16. You recognize these lights as they're getting closer. You've met one before. It was that creature.
Shit. Yep. So I quickly scream to wake the others up. We're like, guys, we have another battle on our hands.
Can they get inside the dome?
I don't.
Are you waking up Velen?
Yes.
I'm waking up everybody. I'm screaming.
Velen says, I do not believe they'd be able to cross into our space. We should be safe in here for at least the next, and she kind of counts it in her head. We have 6 more hours before the spell ends.
Are the wolves okay? Is the dog sorry?
They're with us, aren't they?
Yeah, 20 foot radius. Can you fit everything inside? Oof.
Sleds maybe not, but I put the dogs in.
Yeah, the dogs. You can huddle in with the dogs, I would say, but it's going to be a struggle. The sleds wouldn't be inside.
How many are there, Hakeem?
How many did I actually see? I think I saw a couple of lights, right?
You, with a 16, you would have known that it was 3 lights.
Okay.
Let's just stay inside the dome.
I saw 3.
Let's just stay
What
inside.
if they're out? Yeah. But we should be on alert.
Well, can we do missile weapons pass through the dome?
I don't think so. Let me check. Creatures and objects within the dome can move through it freely. So yes, you can fire out of the dome with
An object.
with objects. Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's hope they just.
Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome.
Huh.
But objects can. From the inside out. From the outside in, no.
Let's just hunker down and hope they pass us by. But if they come up close, we know we can pepper them.
Agreed.
Just encourage them.
I wonder if they'll be able to sense you. I'm gonna say yes. Slowly, over a period of about 15 minutes, the lights get closer and closer. Until suddenly you see on the outside these spectral corpses with light shining out of their hoods, dressed in, normal 10-towners type clothes. Just kind of trying to beat on the outside of the dome, trying to reach through it. And, you can see the magic that knits the dome intensify as they're trying to kind of pierce through it, and they're bashing it. It's like sort of an impact that ripples across it, but they're unable to get through.
Stab them through the dome.
Yes, you would be able to try and hit them through the dome.
Something, fish in a barrel. 13?
13 hits.
Okay, I am going to...
I'm going to ask you guys to roll for initiative, though, in that case.
Okay.
Oh, bugger.
Dang it.
I'm going to dump a first level Divine Smite into that attack. Are they undead?
They are, but as you go through and you push your divine energy through, you see it leave into your blade, and as it hits where the blade pierces the barrier, it goes and seems to absorb into the dome.
Shit.
Fine, he still took 9 points of piercing damage.
13.
Right, initiative, yeah, cool. Caliban?
17.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, ignore that roll, I misclicked.
Derbic?
21.
Okay, and Oreo?
13.
I think Derbic's advantage on initiative rolls is the thing in all of D&D that's made me the happiest ever.
Okay, so... Alright, so 9 piercing damage to one of them, yes?
Yeah, 9 piercing damage to one.
Alright. Alright. So, top of the round. You're still in the drum, so you don't have to do anything else. But, Derbic, would you like to do something?
I don't know. I don't know anything about these creatures, whether they can stay here after the blizzard passes or anything, right?
Yeah, no idea.
I guess that I will also try and hit them through the dome. I don't know. It seems strange, but yeah, that's the thing to do. To encourage them to leave.
Alright, so just
persuasion of the hand.
Normal melee attack?
Yes.
Okay, roll to hit. Do you hit a different one or the same one as...
Same one.
Okay.
It's a 17.
I might... 17 hits. I might actually make that happen. So, roll your damage, but I'll see if I can actually...
17 points. 5 of which was radiant, if it matters.
The radiant wouldn't go through.
Well, I'm sure it's the head of the hammer is outside the dome. I don't know. To you.
Okay.
However you want to call it, Dre. Doesn't matter. It's fine. It's not coming from me. It's coming from the hammer.
True.
That's the only thing I was thinking, right?
Okay. I'll allow it. How much damage?
17.
And was it the same or a different one? Sorry.
Same one.
Same one. I think it's vulnerable to the radiant, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
No, doesn't say. Okay. Okay, so give me a second. I will actually make it pop out. Haha. Where is my macro?
I hate it when they interrupt our sleep, man.
I don't know. Like, I've not slept well last night, so I'm just... all the time.
Couldn't we have just slept through this?
All right. It is their turn. They can't do shit, can they?
That was my question, Zach, of whether they would leave or not? Like, if they've now found us, are they just going to stay out there and bash on this till the
Wait, yeah.
spell runs out? I don't know.
You hear a faint whisper on the wind, going, "How dare you invade my domain?
Oh, it's
How
you
dare
again.
you
Better say it.
despoil?"
We've not invaded. You old hag.
I'm just passing through.
Don't
Yeah, but
worry.
they can't.
They
The
can
cold
pass
workers
through one
can't
of
do
my
anything, so
spells.
it's Caliban's turn again.
Sorry, who said that?
The wind.
I'm gonna take 2 swings from behind the safety of the dome at that guy again.
Okay.
25, and the second to hit is 22.
Okay, both hit.
A total of 16 points of piercing damage between the 2 strikes.
Okay. Akeem, it is your turn.
You know what, actually, I'm gonna drop the shield, because I'm behind the dome, take out my sickle, and do a bonus action third attack. Dual wielding, offhand.
Next time, you didn't say it the first time.
Okay, fine. Fine.
So I'm still within the dome, and there's 3 of them out, right?
Yeah.
So I can see them through the shield of the dome, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and throw my 2 remaining darts at them.
Okay.
At one of them.
Roll your to hit for your dart.
It's where? How do I check to hit?
So
Because
ne-
I only have it as in my inventory.
Next to you in your inventory, can you tick it?
Yeah, there's a little checkbox.
So when you check it, then it goes back into your actions as something you can do.
Ah, okay. There it is. Beautiful. Haha. So, roll to hit. 3. Oh, sorry, that's the damage. My bad. Not any better. 9.
So the first
9
one
to
misses. I will allow you a bonus action to throw. If that's what you're throwing, both of them, you can do your.
Oh yes, 23, mother.
Nice. This one goes and it goes. You see it fly through the barrier that lets it through, like whoop, and it flies into the hood, into the light that it's trying to shine into the dome, but seems blocked by it, and it goes straight in and disappears. Roll your damage.
It is 7.
Okay. Oreo, what would you like to do?
Oreo's a bit like, I was having a very nice sleep. Dear God. Why we have a magical barrier if we're going to attack something through the barrier? He said. Oh well. I attack the nearest one to me I take out Meepo and I go, look, me. I say to the kobold, Meepo, meet Meepo, kill light creature. And that's going to be what's that? 24. Yeah. 24 to hit.
Okay, that definitely hits. Roll your damage with sneak attack.
So that's 10 base, and then so that's going to be sorry, going mad here. That's going to be 19 points of damage.
Very well. Which one? To a random one or to the same one?
Well, I'll so from where you're standing, so where am I? Oreo's I'm the one in front of me.
Okay. 19, yeah?
Yeah.
Very well. Okay. I think Nora will hang back. She can't cast her undead. Can you cast? No, turn undead would have to be through the dome, which would
Through the barrier, yeah.
But Durbik, you get one more turn. Same
All right.
as before.
Yeah. So, that's 27.
Definitely hits. 14 hits.
14 plus 1, so 15 points of damage. And the
How much?
second hit, 15.
Okay.
Second one is an 18 to hit.
How do you want? Oh, sorry. To hit. Okay, cool.
7 plus 5, 12 points of damage.
So it's 12 and 15.
Yes.
Okay. Even through the barrier, you're bashing this one about and destroying bits of its cloak and armor, and like you actually hit on the side of the head, and the hood splits open, and it's now, rather than just a beam of light, it's like there's like a shining sun, but it's cold on top of its head. You can barely see a skull through it, and it's just kind of flailing about, trying to get in desperately. But it's their turn, and suddenly you just hear across the wind. This time it's not even a whisper. There's just sort of this, enough! I will get you. You will not always be ready. And suddenly they all turn away, and you see the light shine away from the dome. So actually suddenly everything goes dark, and as your eyes tries to adjust to kind of be able to see, by the time you're kind of able to peer through the darkness in the magical dome, you can't see the cold light walkers anymore.
Seems like she's going through something.
Can I see if I've got dark vision?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
do?
they're actually separated all apart from each other, right? And the one that I hit seemed to be pretty well damaged. So I'm going to step outside of the dome, try and see it with dark vision, and take
Okay.
2 throws at it to see if I can take it down before it gets away.
It's within range of being able to be seen, but in a blizzard you have disadvantage on your perception check. So roll with disadvantage to see if you see it.
$14.
Okay. I will say you can see it, but consider it as if it's behind basically medium cover. So that's a -2, I think, to your roll if you want to try and hit it.
I do want to try and hit it. Twice, in fact. The first one is a 27, so I take how much off of that?
27 hits.
12 plus 3 is 15 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
Ah,
The one that didn't the hood was split off of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw the hammer right through that skull.
oof.
Nice. And you see this kind of brief, intense, just kind of light, like you know those really old-fashioned flash bulbs for like old cameras that would go, puff. Like you just kind of see like something cold and blue like that, but just briefly lighting up, so that basically the entirety of the your horizon, like all of it, goes just pure white for a second, and then disappears, and you're back to being in a cold gray blizzard with a dome behind you.
Back into the dome.
Okay.
I turn to Velen.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I will say no. It seemed undead, but I am not familiar with this particular kind.
Wait,
I
you
am-
didn't hear that voice?
I did, and that I will say I feel like that could have been our next quarry. Yes? Would you agree?
I mean, nervously, I would agree.
Well, I would say if she's feeling particularly defensive, perhaps my theories are right. We should try to avoid her, but I feel like if we come across her, it might be an easier fight than you would expect.
The goddess of winter.
Why would she be hiding on the material plane? Are you familiar with the concept of planes and dimensions? She sort of looks around at all of you.
No, the
gods
frozen.
you see-
Momentarily.
I'm familiar with the frozen plane.
And she explains to you guys, like, sort of as you kind of hunker back down to sort of sleep. Well, the gods don't normally come to let's call it the real world. Some of us call it the material plane. The gods are somewhere else, somewhere beyond human understanding. That is where they live, and generally they are not keen to come here. Also, they seem to have a truce about not interfering, because it would cause too much damage to humans. And they kind of rely on us existing and believing in them for their own power.
Interesting.
The fact that she's seemingly here, casting her spell and creating undead, would point to her hiding amongst us. I would say that she is in some sort of danger and her form is diminished. But it is a speculation on my part, I will admit.
If she's in danger, maybe she could be reasoned with.
You want to reason with a god of winter's wrath? And cold cruelty?
Anyone negotiates when they're desperate enough.
What do you have to offer her?
Safety? I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility.
Well, I will sit back as far as possible if you ever decide to negotiate with a goddess, but sure.
Reasonable. I'm going to bed.
Okay. Any other point of order before a long rest?
No, I'm going to
No.
sleep.
Yeah,
All right.
sleep would be
You
good.
guys can have a long rest.
Excellent.
Yay! Long, rest it up. Rest it up. Rest it up. I'm gonna rest it up.
As you wake up in the morning, the kobolds have prepared sort of scrambled eggs. The last of the eggs, I'm afraid, but a very nice
No
hearty
cat
dish.
bacon. That was 3 big cats.
They're more than happy to do to add some bacon to it, but they've cooked up a little hearty breakfast of eggs and cheese.
Yum.
That's
Yum.
nice. Thank you.
I'll have a second crag cat ribeye for breakfast.
And Oreo just
Excellent.
looks at you, sort of askance as you eat it.
Listen, if we ever find a devil and kill it, you have my permission to eat it free of judgment from me. Deal?
Mhm.
No, but and Oreo giggles.
All right. And you set off towards East Haven, trying to make good time after a nice, somewhat restful sleep after the events of the of the night. The dome was very helpful.
Oh yeah.
I will tell Vel, and this isn't the first time we've run into those creatures, and tell her the story of the last time. Without the dome, they're serious enemies.
Velen, I wouldn't presume to expect you to accompany us on all our journeys. So for that I ask, would you possess the power to enchant an item to be able to cast that dome?
Ooh. Well, I could write a spell scroll, but to be able to use it, you have to be at least familiar with the types of magic. If it's not something that is in your skill set, or could be in your skill set, you probably wouldn't be able to use this.
Damn it. Alright, fair enough. Perhaps that RSV is something that's back on the table then.
And you arrive at the smoldering ruins of East Haven sometime in the sort of mid-morning. And you pull
Yeah.
close to the that would be the western side of town. Yeah, that's the most destroyed part. And you just see rubble and collapsed houses. The fires are mostly out. The blizzard put them out.
Thaumaturgy.
Sort of,
Hello? Dragon's dead. Anybody?
roll a perception check.
No.
That's going to be a 24.
Okay. Oreo, you, with your quick sort of gaze and sort of looking around after this sort of booming sound from Caliban, magically amplified voice echoing across sort of the town, you definitely see movement from a few sort of collapsed houses, like maybe a few glances out of windows here and there. There's not many people left, but there's definitely a few people. There's a lot of bodies in the streets. You're right at the edge of town, so you'll be next to the. 1 second.
Oh, where's East Haven? Yep.
Cool. So you can see the piers are all but destroyed. The East Haven Ferry building is the only thing left, and because the buildings are mostly destroyed, you can kind of see the town hall in the distance, because all the others are kind of just collapsed.
Let's just head for the town hall.
Agreed.
Yep.
Okay. As you trudge through the cold and quiet, even quieter than usual town, there's occasional sort of movements behind closed windows, and kind of maybe from dark alleys, eyes watching you, but everybody's staying clear at the moment.
I'm going to keep using thaumaturgy as we're traveling, shouting, "The dragon is dead. The dragon is dead."
Okay. And you see a little group of villagers, an old woman and 2 children and sort of a middle-aged man kind of come towards you and says, do you have any food?
How much cat is left? They were big cats.
Yeah, there are 3 large beasts. There was 6, 7 of you eating. The kobolds would have had a nice helping. Well, you definitely have some meat.
I'll give them some cat meat without telling them it's cat meat.
And they're like, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And they sort of grab it and then rush back into the broken building and kind of close the door and slam it shut.
Cook it before you eat it.
You see bodies of guards littering the streets when they try to make sort of a stand against the dragon here and there. You can definitely see chunks torn out of one person, like torso, as if it's been hit by a claw. They just basically rendered through him like it was a knife through hot butter.
Caliban sighs deeply and just says, "Fuck."
And a small group of huddled people that look like they were sort of sheared through by the dragon's beam. They're basically cauterized at the chest, the top part of them missing.
You know,
Let's move quickly.
I'm not a fan of this dragon.
No.
And you reach the town hall, and you can see that there was some kind of sort of stand there, and it doesn't look like these people that you see, the sort of a small group of the guards that you'd come to know, actually. They didn't seem to be killed by dragons. They seem to have been killed by weapons.
Oh, those taken over people, remember?
Oh, right.
Have a look around, see if we
Yeah,
see anyone,
spread
see if
out.
we see the town speaker, see if we see, oh god, Caliban's paramour.
Captain Arlagath, yes.
Yeah,
Roll
Captain
an
Arlagath.
investigation check.
That is my wheelhouse. That is going to be a 17 plus 9, DM, so that's a 26.
You don't find the town speaker or Captain Arlagath amongst this group, but as you kind of circle around trying to get a layout of the town hall from the outside, you do see Captain Arlegath sort of fallen over in the snow with sort of a large hole in her back.
It's too late to bring her back, isn't it?
With our
there
powers, yes.
Is there? So the town hall is still intact or not?
It looks like it hasn't been touched from the outside.
The town speaker, can I recall any brooches or any sort of effects he might have had about him?
Well, you haven't found the town speaker, but...
No, I know, I'm just asking from memory. Could I recall anything like that?
He had relatively nice clothes, and he would have had a chain of office around his neck to indicate his rank.
I'm going to cast Locate Object on his chain of office.
Okay, let me look up Locate Object. You have to be familiar with the object, or just know what it is?
Let's have a look. Oh, where's Locate Object? An object that is familiar to you. I sense the object's direction in 1,000 feet.
It is very close. It's definitely inside the town hall.
He's inside the town hall.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yep.
You open the doors and go through, and everything's been upended on the inside. There's no damage from the dragon on the outside, but through here, there's definitely, like, you know, the benches are overturned, and there's a few guards in here that are dead, killed by weapons, and not by dragon. And you make your way to the main town hall, and as you open, you all gasp as the Chardolin figurehead is missing, except for a few pieces, small pieces, that looked like just definitely Chardolin, but just rubble of it around the place where it was in the middle.
That's actually the most unsurprising thing about all of this.
I thought we'd agreed with them they were going to take that and dump it back in the lake.
I thought that as well.
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, hopefully that's why it's missing.
Hopefully.
Locate Objects is still up. I'm going to follow it.
You go and you follow the sort of beeping little blip signal. It's kind of like this kind of wave of sort of like feeling warmth. You know, if there's a particularly hot lamp, you kind of feel it.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It's guiding you, sort of orienting you towards the right direction. And you go into the speaker's office, and sort of there at the head of the table, slumped onto the table, is the speaker.
You hold his head up. Is he dead?
As you try to hold his head up, his head comes off.
Oops.
Caliban, you pulled his head off.
I very gingerly put it back down. Like, can I examine the wound? Like, how did this happen?
Roll an investigation check.
Oh,
or
no.
a medicine check. Roll a medicine
I
check.
think I suck at both of those. Yeah. Okay, medicine it is. That doesn't matter. The roll's the same. 7.
Yeah, you're not too sure, but there's definitely some blunt trauma. Like, when you pulled it off, there was still kind of some bits of the neck that kind of... It was like dough that came apart. So there wasn't like a clean cut or anything. You were surprised. You just kind of lifted him up, used a little too much force, and it just kind of pulled apart. But it wasn't decapitated. It's very kind of uneven.
Wow.
Shit.
Well, this is not good, but at least the building is still standing. Yes. Perhaps we can...
Make us stand here, regroup,
Yeah.
pull people in.
Yes. I agree.
Summon the council. Is there some way to summon the town council? Is there
I
a
do
bell?
not have a way. Perhaps we can travel to Bryn Shander, or if you have a way to communicate with them.
No, I was
We
just
need to
thinking
find
that
out what happened to Salazar.
I think we should try and unite these people and start to rebuild.
Yes.
I'm not the most charismatic of creatures. Perhaps you, Caliban, or you, Akeem, who are much more eloquent with people, should speak to the people and gather them around and let us start to rebuild. We should find the cauldron.
Yes.
I got us.
Agreed.
Can you
One step
locate
at a time.
objects on that, Caliban?
Yes, actually I can.
I'll recast locate object on the cauldron.
Okay.
And I'll try and gather the folks.
Which folks?
As in, like, the people that are around. Were there any...
In the town
There's no
hall
one
is
around.
just dead people.
Oh,
If
shit,
you,
okay. I
there's
thought they
people
were-
outside sort of hiding for some reason. They didn't come out except that one family. Everybody else seemed too scared to come out.
Well,
But there's definitely a
walk
few
out-
people.
Yeah, I'll walk out and speak just to the nothingness that's there and be like,
Okay.
we are here to help you. You can come to us and let the danger is over for now. If you are hiding, it is safe for you to come out now.
Okay.
I go and help Akeem, and I go, come, let us rebuild East Haven. Let's bury the dead. It is time to restart.
Is there a bell in the town hall?
Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
So let's just start ringing the bell. Let's find the cauldron also.
Okay.
So go with the locate object.
Does the
Caliban?
cauldron ping?
It does, and it's underneath you.
It's
Let's go get
underneath
it.
us. Yeah.
Let's go get it.
As you go down the steps into the sort of dungeon, jail cell type area, so do you just rush down to where you last left it?
I'll lead the charge, yes.
Okay.
Do it, but you with him, and me and Akeem
Yes.
are outside.
Yep.
As you clang down in your full armor down the steps, you suddenly hear a muffled sort of from one sort of in the distant corridor.
I run towards that.
You turn a corner towards the jail cell, and you see that a lot of the jail cells are open, and some of them are still closed. One of them in particular is where the sound is coming from.
Do I see anybody?
Well, you'd have to try and open the door.
It's not like just a cage bar that I can see through.
Or there's no grated window or anything?
Not in this one. There's maybe one or two with windows and ones that don't have windows. This one does not.
I'm on guard, but I will try to open the door.
You try to pull, and it's kind of solidly just stuck. It's clearly been locked.
Do we see where the
Durban 3.
keys are? Do we see the keys are? I mean, we're on the jailer side of the jail cell. So do we see where the keys are? So we go.
There's
through
no
this?
jailers in the cell. Clearly, whoever was here rushed out to
No,
help
just mean where
with the
they
war.
have the office. We would have the office or wherever they might keep the keys. Might be visible to us.
Okay. Well, if you want to go run upstairs and kind of do an investigation check, you could do that.
I'll
Might as
assist him.
well. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So I get to roll with advantage because of the assistance. Is that right? Because we're doing
Yep,
it together.
or up to you whether you roll separately or roll with advantage.
I would advise us to roll separately, except I've already rolled now. So 12.
12? I mean, it takes you longer than you thought it would. Like, this person's still screaming for your help, so it takes you a good 20 minutes to find a guard that had the keys on them.
I'll tell him we're looking for the key. We need to get you out.
Okay. So Turbek eventually finds the keys on the body of one of the guards, runs down, puts the key in the lock, and turns it. You open the door, and you see before you sort of a half-orc female with long braided hair and sort of a ring on her nose and one on her lip, and the clothes of what looks to be a mariner, on her. A few extra furs to keep warm, but she looks like a sailor, and she looks down at you because she's at least 6'4", and says, "Oh, thank God! I thought no one was ever going to come for me."
Why were you in here?
Well, I got a bit rowdy at the local establishment, and I may or may not have sent 4 or 5 of the town guard to the infirmary, allegedly.
Do I believe her? I believe her, but does Caliban believe her?
Roll an insight check.
Okay, so it's a 13 on the die plus 17 total.
I think
seen-
Derbick would be quite impressed with that.
Yeah, I had a modified 7. I think she's salt of the earth, obviously misunderstood.
She
should
seems
make
pretty
it
straightforward.
Yeah, okay, it's like, well, how much did you hear of what happened?
I have no idea what happened. All I know is that the guards disappeared, and then I heard some people come down. They didn't speak common. I don't know what they were speaking.
Maybe you should sit down. And I will spend a minute or so just being blunt about what happened.
Wow. Oh,
You have a
I
chance to do some real good now.
thought- Right. Okay.
These people are hungry and desperate. They need someone with power to help them.
Suppose it's not like I can go anywhere else at the moment. What do you want me to do?
Help keep them safe. Help keep them secure. Help keep order. They'll listen
Roll
to you
persuasion. Oh,
through
roll a
fear of
persuasion
nothing
check.
else. Uh, 23.
all right. Says, I'll think about it. I'd like to see the sun. Well, actually, god damn it, I always forget. But at least some fresh air would be good.
I'm imagining her saying that in that exact sequence. God damn it, I always forget as well.
No, but that's what she said. It wasn't the DM.
Oh.
Let's find what we were looking for, Caliban.
Yeah.
I say we let her
What's
just
your
let her
name?
go.
I say to the orc lady.
Caliban, roll an intelligence check.
Uh, 13.
Something is missing from this prison.
The cauldron.
Well, the cauldron is there if you go look for it.
Alright, something's missing from this prison?
The Derbick, Durgar.
Prudence.
Prudence? The Derbick king's son?
Oh, the Dwergar.
No.
Yeah, where is he?
No.
Wait! Shut that door.
I shut
What
the
door?
The door to the cell. Hang on 1 minute. We just need to have a quick conversation.
What? Wait. Roll a persuasion check.
My persuasion sucks.
Actually, catching on to that, can I find a pebble on the ground?
A pebble?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find some pebble.
Can I flick it at her?
Sure. It hits her right on the head, and you see her get extremely upset. And
I
be
wasn't
like,
aiming for
what
the head, the
hell is
shoulder."
wrong with you?
A very dangerous
Calvin.
prisoner was in the sea cells as well. Was
We don't
making
need to
sure.
talk to her about this, Caliban. Just wait.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to step away from the door.
Okay.
Could she be that Dwergar prisoner that was held here? That somehow disguised himself?
Did I still flick the pebble at her?
Yeah, and it hits her.
Well, it's unless he was capable of shape changing. Do we know if he was?
I don't know. But let's find our friends and speak to them. Because
Yeah.
there's no other prisoners down here, right?
You can check all the cells, and there's no one. As far as you can see, she's the only one. But
All right.
I peered pretty deeply into her intent. I would think I'd be able to suss out something like that with the reading I got.
Let's just confer with our comrades before we... Let's make sure the cauldron is here. Let's get the cauldron. And then let's
Question:
go
Is
upstairs
the
and-
orc lady, was she in the same cell that the prince was left in?
Roll intelligence check to see if you remember.
20. Modify 20.
No, it's a different cell.
Okay.
So you guys go to grab the cauldron, but whilst this is happening, Akeem, it takes, they took like a good 10-20 minutes. It takes you the same amount of time to just shouting in the wind, begging for people to come out. But eventually you see lots of little dark shapes emerging from some of the houses. And there's 12, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, and then you kind of lose count. Just people coming close, shuffling close, tentatively looking around. A lot of them look quite injured. But they all kind of come towards you, like shaking, cold, because, their homes have been destroyed. They've had no heat. Mm-hmm. And they sort of just all come around you and look straight into your eyes, sort of. You can tell from their faces and from their looks, they're looking for answers. They're looking for guidance. They don't know what to do. And you're just kind of standing there, and you're their savior in a way. Like they're all kind of thinking, deliverance has come. And I think we're going to end tonight's episode there.
I knew it. Nice.
I was just about to whisper to Akeem.
Yeah. Don't worry. We'll catch up from next week.
Excellent.
Thanks to the audience for watching, and we had a few new people join since kindly Min, the player that plays Akeem, for those that don't know him, has been shouting out on his extensively large audience on TikTok. So thanks for that. That's been amazing. We have a few new people. If you've been watching, thank you, and please tune in next week for more shenanigans from Tier 4 in Icewind Dale. Bye, everybody.